What's going on, people? What's going on? Welcome to the show. There is no intro today because we are doing something different. Now, I'm going to get straight into it with an opening statement because you guys need to know what this stream is going to be about. And I feel that it's important for you guys to know what the stream's about. So, whilst I wait for people to come in, I'm just going to do a bit of housekeeping. I'm just going to see if I'm live on all channels as well, because we are going to YouTube today. We are going to Kick, of course, the favorite of this channel, the one that I want to really dedicate a lot of the time to this channel. We are a little bit early because I might have to stop this and start again. Who knows? Who knows? We're at Kick, we're at Rumble, we're at Twitter, we're on everyone. So yeah, I hope you like the stream today. So let me just get to the opening statement. Then we'll do the housekeeping and then we will get straight into it. So, one of the strangest things that I have noticed over the last few years is that people who say they hate being controlled, they are often the easiest people in the world to control. And that's not because they're weak, it's not because they're stupid, it's because they've kind of outsourced their thinking. They've done it to politicians, they've done it to activists, they've done it to influencers, commentators, YouTubers, people they'd never met, you name it. If they don't really have to think too hard, they will allow people to do it. You see, these are the same people who will spend hours telling you not to trust the authority of anyone else whilst demanding that you trust them instead. These are the people who tell you that the government is a nanny state destroying our society and then spend the next 3 hours on a live stream trying to become your nanny. They tell you what to think. They tell you what to believe. They tell you who's lying, who's telling the truth. What questions? What questions can you ask? What questions do you have to ignore? And when the audience hands over responsibility to them, it's often because following is a lot easier than investigating. And that's why I keep coming back to the same old thing. We've got to get the fundamentals right. Because if we get the fundamentals wrong, everything that we build upon that will become distorted. Let's just take DEI, for instance, right? One of the quickest way I feel that you can spot someone who's only learnt about it from YouTube and clips and everything else like that, rather than studying it, is when they call it diversity, equality, and inclusion, because it's not. The E doesn't stand for equality, the E stands for equity. And that distinction, it might sound stupid to people. It might be like, oh, what's the problem? But it changes the whole entire conversation, because equality and equity are not the same things. And the moment that you confuse them, you're already walking into the wrong debate. Now, if you're arguing about equity legislation and all this equal treatment, well, the actual argument is happening on the equity side. That's where the real debate is equity, outcomes, disparities, whether unequal outcomes themselves provide evidence of unfairness, whether institutions should intervene to create different results in people. You don't have to agree with anything that you study. You don't have to support anything you study. You just have to understand what you're talking about, the principles of it. Because if you don't understand what you're opposing in this case, then you're just going to be containing yourself. You're just going to be chasing fires and fighting in the shadows. And the same thing happens when people, they throw around critical race theory and DEI as if they were interchangeable. Yes, granted, they're connected, but they're not identical. Ideas evolve, frameworks evolve, language often evolves. And if people are still using slogans whilst the people promoting the ideas, they actually have an understanding of the of the intellectual foundations underneath them, then you've already handed them a huge advantage. And it's not just happening in debates on DEI, sadly. Look at politics. I've been watching conversations around Restore Britain and around Reform UK. I've been looking at that and the arguments made by its supporters. The message often sounds attractive on the surface, but things like everyone should unite. Everyone should fold into one movement. Everyone should get behind one banner and push forward. But hold on a minute. I just want to slow them conversations down, because if everyone on your side is folding into one organization, where does the scrutiny come from? Where does the challenges come from? Where does the internal accountability come from? What happens when there's only one approved direction? Because I'm telling you, throughout history, if you have a concentration of power in one area, it doesn't become safer because the people holding it are people who are claiming to be on the same side. See, opposition is not just protection against your enemy, it's protection against your allies too. Then we look at the Henry Novak case. Everyone is talking about the body cam, the footage. And then they stop. Why are you stopping there for? Is it the complete footage? What's missing? Who selected it to be released? Who was the one that was, edited it to be released? What happened before the recording started? What happened afterwards? Where are the neighbours' accounts of it? Are the timelines actually accurate? These questions do not prove absolutely anything, right? But refusing to ask them guarantees that you'll never discover anything new. We can look at Brighton, multiple drownings, and the victims all come from the same geographical location, area. They've all ended up in the same location, the same beach, the same sea. You've got people immediately going into two camps. One side says that's obviously suspicious. The other side says, well, obviously it's nothing. But the investigation starts where certainty ends. See, the real question isn't what conclusion feels comfortable. The real question is what information we're missing, what patterns exist, what patterns don't exist, why people seem so desperate to reach the conclusion before asking any questions, because that's what influence looks like. It's not just censorship. It's not always propaganda. Sometimes it is much, much simpler. It's directing attention, telling you where to look and where not to look, giving you the conclusion before you've even made up your own mind. And that brings me up to something that we're going to discuss later on tonight. Behavioral psychology. Not this this cartoon version, the real thing, right? Because we are being influenced every single day. We've got incentives, there's language. You've already heard it on YouTube. Well, I can't say that. That's part of the influence. They crush you if you say the wrong thing to guide you to say the right thing through framing and social pressure and, having a default position through repetition of words, statements, slogans, aim high, vote low, through systems that are they're designed by people to understand human behavior even better than we understand it ourselves. Because once you start seeing these mechanisms, you start spotting them everywhere, right? I'm telling you, this is my problem. So tonight's stream's not going to be telling you what to think. We're going to be examining why people have stopped thinking for themselves. We'll talk about DEI and critical race theory. We'll talk about Henry Nowak. We'll talk about Brighton. We'll talk about the political movements and centralizing influence, I guess, and the behavioral psychology and how things are shaped around us every single day. And most importantly, I think I'm going to hope that we go through the questions that people are determined not to ask. Because once you stop asking the questions and you simply follow the crowd, you've handed somebody else the steering wheel. And history has never been particularly kind to people who do that. So without further ado, let's get on with the show. So that's really the intro. We will be letting people coming in. And what's going on, Ross, over on Kick? So we'll just be doing that so people can make up their mind and see what the stream's about. Because with the old one, when I've got the intro, it's a good song. I like it. People love it. But the problem is, the huge problem, let me just get this up. The huge problem is when you just click on it, people don't necessarily understand, what it is that we're talking about. Oh, it's still the wrong one. This is still on the wrong one on YouTube. That's why we can't get any chat up. Evening, everyone. How is everyone doing on this apparently Friday, but it's not Friday, it's Saturday? Why is that not coming through here? Ross Home giving out the kicks. Thank you very, very much. Good evening, Cursed UTK. Good evening, UTK Blue. Joanne Lamb, I actually feel lost, to be honest, Danny. I've been feeling so fucking low because of all of this shit. And that's what it is. There's too many people spreading fear. There's too many YouTubers understanding the small, not even the small, understanding the quick streams. You do an hour, you promote fear, you try and dictate to people what they should be looking at, what they should be doing, and then what they shouldn't be doing. And hopefully you can get them into this mindset of believing what you're saying. And then you ramp it up. Is there a civil war? Is there this? Is DEI going to be doing this? Are the police going to? And it gets people wound up, and it gets people to click because they believe that you're the person doing it. And I can do them very easily. I can do them very easily. But the problem with that is, look at this, I've got an alarm going off. The problem is this. That's not me. I like to be a little bit real with people. I like to try to do these long streams where we can get a bit of the facts. I don't know everything. A lot of the stuff that I learn, I research, it takes up a lot of time. But I think these long streams and how we can go about it, I think that's going to be a lot better because it will challenge what other people will say. Like what I said in the intro, what about DEI? People saying all the time, I can get streams up now where they're saying it's about equality. And it's not, it's equity. But if people are using that, if that's what they're saying, then what kind of information are you giving? Are you getting? What kind of information are you getting? Who's asked these questions? Like, have you ever been through mandatory DEI training in your workplace? Who's had that? Let's hear some experiences of people actually going through this. Let's hear those experiences. Let's hear what people are actually going through. I don't know why I'm not getting. Give me 1 second, people, please, because I'm not getting one of. Let me just reload all of this. I'm just not getting the YouTube. Don't add that one. I'm just not getting the YouTube coming up. I've got it on here, but I don't want it on here. I've got it on a panel, but I don't want to put it on the panel, to be honest. That's not what I want. Manipulation is the biggest problem. Manipulation is the biggest problem. And we're being manipulated every single day. Yeah. And that's just how it is. That is just how it is at this moment in time. All we can do is try to get ourselves better, make ourselves more prepared, have the streams that you want to do. Listen, I go out, I get 300-400 people. I'm buzzing. I get about 300-400 people. People go out and saying, right, how can I get 2,000 people, 10,000 people? And it's the same old things. I can look at YouTube figures and know what it's about. It's, oh, here we go. I think I've sorted it out now. Right. Is that coming up? Right. We already have been gaslit into thinking that E was equality. Exactly that. And why? Who's done it? Who's pushing that without understanding the true meaning of it? It's crazy. So without further ado, let's go in and see. Not that one. Oh, I've just deleted it. I've just deleted it. No, I haven't. Let's go and see what it is. Now, this whole thing, sorry, that was an unexpected hiccup. This whole thing that I'm going to do, and I'm going to be doing it as well for the foreseeable, and we'll see how it goes. You don't have to be watching it. You could be listening. You can just sit back, relax. You know, you can get your phone and keep messaging. Keep up with it. I'll put the messages up on the screen. We'll go through them. I do feel I've got a problem with my YouTube at the moment, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Let me just check one thing and see if we are going out on, not that one. Where's the wrong one? Let me see if we're going out on X. Is anyone here from X? Because apparently they allow me to stream again. I don't know. Let's see. No. That's unfortunate. So we're going to have these ones again, but it's fine. We can get more stuff there. Anyway, let's get straight into it. Let's just get straight into it. So, as I said, you don't have to be watching it. You can listen to it, but we'll go through all these slides that I've got because this is how I've done it. So, uno momento. You know when I have it all done correctly. So always when I'm on stream, it always changes. Every single time. You can put your money on it. You can put your money on it, right? Let's go to the chat. Oh, it's probably this one. It's not that one. It's not that one. Oh no. We have a problem, people. Doesn't matter. We can fight out. And also, you know, when if I come in cold like that, and I do an opening statement, so people know what to expect. People know what the stream is going to be about, and also I feel on the replays as well. People click the replays, and they don't want to go through 4 minutes of. There's the chat. They don't want to go through 4 minutes of. There we go. Of what we're doing. They just don't want to do it. I'm on X, Danny. It's live. Is it live? It's live on X. Okay. That's interesting, isn't it? That's very interesting. Do you know what also is interesting? The chat's not coming up. Oh, there it is. X is okay. Oh, good. All right. We're good then. X is okay. So this is it, right? This is the whole stream, is why so many people stop thinking for themselves, right? And this is hopefully going to get the truth of all the things that we've got going on at the moment. As you see at the top, in the little top bits, we've got DEI, we've got Restore Britain, but I was changing it as the hours was coming on, and I was like, oh, you know what? Let me just forget about that for the moment because it's not really that important. We've got Henry Novak, we've got the Brighton situation. My words, it's gone crazy. And we just got general psychology and we got sources that we can go through. Yes, Rome's, DEI, we are going through that. And it's crazy. Thank you for the kick. Right? It's very, very important. Deport every illegal. That's what it should be. That's what it should be. Deport every illegal. And I don't think anyone would have a problem with that. But we've got lots of sources to go through. So let's just kick it off. Let's kick it off. Oh, yeah. Outsourcing. Outsourcing. When people outsource their thoughts. This is basically what it is. They're accepting the conclusion because somebody they trusted has delivered it. Question everything. Question what I say. question what anyone says, because the moment you do that, you allow someone to do that, then you give them the ability to gaslight you. The trap's the authority, because we've stopped trusting the mainstream. So now we've got to find an alternative person to trust, right? Trust yourself. That's it. Because ultimately, you know, everyone else can and has the ability to do what everyone else does. Look at Reform UK. There we go. So that's just the thing. At the bottom of these as well, you're gonna, I'll probably go past them, right? So it says questions to apply to every source. Now, this is for me because I set up these kind of dossiers. Most of them, the questions are for my freedom of information. So I'm like, right, DEI, what can I speak about? What do I need to say to, I don't know, a governing body? Okay, I can tell them this, that, and the other. So if I do skip past them, it's not anything else. But the E is the argument, right? It is the whole argument. Brett, good day. I've got your Telegram. I didn't even know you sent me half of them things. You're not blocked. And yeah, everything's cool. I'm going to get back to you later on today. So the E is the argument. And that is the argument. And we'll go through the argument. Because one of the quickest ways to spot someone who hasn't learned, as I said before, hasn't learned about DEI is because they'll call it equity, right? Equality, sorry, not equity, right? So this is how the word changes it. Okay, let me get it up there. Equality means everyone receives the same treatment. They remove barriers and let individuals compete. And it's the whole situation of, we're going to put a ramp outside where the stairs are so wheelchair users can go up. No one's got a problem with that. No one's got a problem with that, right? Equal opportunity is the goal. So it's equality of, I'll get myself up now, of outcome. But equity is equity of, I'll get myself, I'm looking at a chat now, opportunity, right? Unequal outcomes can reflect on individual choices, behavior, culture and behavior. And we judge people as individuals, not as members, right? This whole membership to, to the DEI lobby, I'm guessing. So everyone receives the same outcomes. This is equity, but people intervene to change the results, not just access. Equal outcomes are not the goals, but equal outcomes are the goals, but the unequal outcomes are evidence of some type of systemic failure or unfairness. And group identity is the unit of measurement. So group identity with equity is much more prevalent to equality. But if people start talking about equality and go down the equality routes, then it's very, very easy for them to say, well, that's not what's happening, because everyone still has the same opportunity, but it's the outcome that people are talking about. And when, especially with like Novak's case, right? Especially in that case, I can't move this and I need to move it. Oh, there we go. Especially in Novak's case, right? We can't, the police, when people are talking about DEI, right, okay, it is just literally a police course that they went on. Again, put it in the chat. Have you been on one of these courses? They're absolutely crazy, right? They're absolutely crazy. So DEI and critical race theory, they are connected, but they're not identical, and they're made from different people. See, the academic legal framework of critical race theory, it was developed in UK law schools, and it was critical law studies. And then people like Kimberly Crenshaw came on, and she was actually the one who said critical race studies, but she's got loads of other Marxist stuff. And it is a Marxist idea. It is from a Marxist organization, because if you look at the chronology of it, right, you've got people like Derek Bell, who, was one of the first black lawyers. And then you got Crenshaw, and Crenshaw was mentored by Angela Davis. Angela Davis was taught by Herbert Marcuse. Herbert Marcuse was one of the I will say the Frank. I always say the wrong one. Is it Frankfurt School of? Is it the Frankfurt School? Give me 1 second. Is it the Frankfurt School of Critical Studies? Yeah, it's the Frankfurt School of Critical Theory. That's what it is. So he was a member there, and he got taught by Horkheimer. So Horkheimer is one of the original Marxists. Obviously, he was spending time with Karl Marx himself, and all of these people, when the Nazis came through, they spread throughout the Europe, America, South America. They spread everywhere, and they kept critical studies. So critical race theory is a direct link to Horkheimer, Marcuse. They've just reinvented it, right? So that's how strong it is. DEI has only happened, say, 2020, maybe 2019. It's very new, but it's based upon the principles because they're using equity. So they are saying, well, actually, yes, everyone has the same opportunity, but it's how they get there. It's this old chestnut. Let me show you this. You can understand it better. Equity picture. So this is what they use. This is what they use for the equity pictures, right? Let me just put this here. Can you see that? Yeah. See, this is what you get here. See, equality is everyone's got one box, but the little fella can't see the game. This one's just about going over. So where equity does is they change the outcome. They go to the man, actually, you're too tall, so you don't need any boxes. And then say to the little one, you're too small, so you need the most amount of boxes to see it. Now, the outcome of this is both the same, right? They're both watching the football game or the baseball game, but it's how they got there. And that's how that you can go down the Equality Act and nobody will give a shit. Absolutely nobody will give a shit because that's not what they're doing. They'll be like, that's cool. You keep on doing that. So that's why we have to keep it different. Critical race theory is a framework. It's part of it. It's the, you can say that's the engine and the DEI is just the car. It's just the vehicle. But this comes down to the Marxists themselves. So, here you go. Origin, academic critical race theory, diversity consultants. Then they use the product. That's the commerciality of it. Then the product is the training materials. The policies are the HR mandates, and the enforcement of it is career consequences. Kimberly Crenshaw, she was the one who does intersectionality. This is the one who coined the name of critical race theory. So she said that basically race, gender, sex, class, all of that combined in this overlapping victimhood of oppression, right? And then she ranks it as in who's got the most victimhood, who's got the most oppression, or who's the oppressor. This is where the black trans lesbian comes from, because she probably fits it all. Then you got Ibram X. Kendi. He's an anti-racist scholar, right? He goes in all of these people. He does DEI because he says the only remedy of past discrimination is present discrimination. And that makes no sense. But he says you're either an anti-racist, actively anti-racist. This is why you see the left on the street saying with their little things, smash the far right, because they're actively trying to present themselves as being anti-racist. It's no good just being not racist. You have to be anti-racist. And if you're not, and this guy has got lots and lots and lots of manuals on it, if you're not actively anti-racist, you are a passive racist. These are the people doing DEI and your critical race theorists and putting things into the school. These are the types of people. So if we can oppose that properly with an educational view, when these people are trying to be these intellectual superior people, intellectual supremacists, right? That's what they try and be, intellectual supremacists. Once they try and do that, and we've got the facts, we can back every argument out. And then you've got this person, Robin DiAngelo, right? Then the claim is that white people's discomfort with race conversations is a defensive mechanism perpetuating racism. Yeah. So people don't want to talk about, white people don't want to talk about racism or race or anything like that. I can't be bothered to talk about it. It's not productive. They mean you're defending racism. Make it make sense. And now you're probably understanding why I'm saying it's important that people understand the battlefield when you go into these conversations. This is why I was never allowed to go on Talk TV, to go on GB News against all of these people. We're seeing Iman Ayrton, right? We're seeing her everywhere now. She's apologizing. She's a Marxist. She's one of the top DEI people. She went to America under the guise of an acting scholarship. She was in a HBO series and she was trained on the media. So she had media training, which was acting training, or actress training, I should say. Or is it actor? Because now we can't discriminate against the genders. See, it's so difficult. So she did that training, and she also did training with people like, it was a Black Lives Matter bird. I've got all these other people, Kimberly Crenshaw. It's not Kimberly Crenshaw. Who is it? Collars. Patrice, was it Patrice Collars? The millionaire. She got trained by her about the Marxism. She's very, very, very angry person, and she refuses to debate me. Refuses. I tried to get, even Brother Wendell, he knows this person, and it's a funny story, actually. Let me quickly tell you about it, because I was up in Speaker's Corner. The first time I met Wendell on the face-to-face after the COVIDs and that, it was at Speaker's Corner when he was saying, he said probably on the Wednesday, I'm going to go to Telford to confront racist Tommy Robinson, right? So I was like, I'm not having that, because I'm doing Black White Unite. So let's all just get together, have a conversation, whatever. So we had the conversation. He was like, what's Black White Unite? And then it got to, I want to interview Tommy. So I said, I'll get you that. Come to Telford and I'll get you the interview. But I want an interview from one of your people, which was Miss Ayton, right? Did I get that? No. Did I fuck? And he messaged her in front of me. So that's how much these people don't want to deal with the truth, because it's easy to deal with. And this is in the police force, because we're going to talk about Novak, and they speak about, right about now, the conversation is over. It's over that, really. Let me just get this chat up here, because I'm not doing the chat at the moment. Let's go to this. Oh, here we go. I've got the chat back up. So what's the chat saying about this? Need to move over to Kick. Yes, everyone needs to do it. Now, the link's in the description. I'm going to cut off everything halfway through, and we'll have an after party on Kick. Get Tommy on Kick. He needs to. I say it all the time. Opportunity versus outcome. Exactly that. Is that another? See, look at that, Ross, man. Thank you. Appreciate it for the kick that he's just given us. See, that's support. That's support over on Kick straight away. It's like the rope scenario. It is Roy. How you doing? Hope you're well. Kamala Harris was pushing it. They're all pushing it. UTK Blue says anti-racist equals fascism. That's generally what it is. And that's why when I go to the communist festival, yeah, we're going to see exactly what it is. Ayton's trying to make herself be herself relative again, using the likes of base to reinvent herself. Yeah, and she apologized to Nana Racuna. Now that was a fierce rivalry. And then she starts saying, "Oh, I'm a bit sorry," and because she feels now she can get into the movement. She feels now she can become relevant, but for her ways. Because when you let these people in, they start to dictate what you say. And when Based and Bougie, she doesn't know. Some people got to learn, right? And I've got no hate for her or anything like that. I actually love Based and Bougie. Absolutely love her. I've got all the time in the world for her, right? I told her she was going to be a star from the first time when I spoke to her, and it's going to be true. But people like Ayton will try and bring her down. I saw Wendell in the morning of Telford. He said the same thing. I want to confront Tommy on his thoughts. Exactly. And he was supposed to have a 10-minute interview. It was half an hour. Some of the things he said in there comes around to bite him. But, never trust a Marxist at all. Never, never, never trust a Marxist at all. So, people, can you do me a favor as well? Can you just share this out? Give it a like. Do something like that, because especially on YouTube, right? Because we've got Ross over on Kick. How many people we got on Kick now? We've got a couple. And this is the thing. Kick doesn't promote for me like YouTube will. Yeah, it's Ross over there. People go over to the Kick side. And as I said, the after party is going to be... Where is it? The after party is going to be over on Kick anyway, and I probably will open up the panel. We'll give it a go and see if what I've made, see if that's actually right. So let's get back to this one. So the police, the UK police, they have their DEI anti-racism manuals. Now, Hampshire police have inclusion matters, right? And officers already over the Novak case have said on record that they felt controlled and pressured into the DEI training. 1 out of the 7 officers said in a staff survey. So that's quite a lot. 1 officer resigned, and this is what the IOPC is going to be looking at. But because your boy Roscoe here has it, we can go through it as well. We've got Sussex Police. They've got Trailblazer Award. Right, so it's their anti-racism status. Now, Sussex Police is Brighton and Hove, and they've got a lot of black people dying in the seas, and they're trying to say, "Well, hang on a minute, we've got this chief constable who's the leading person and won all these awards for anti-racism." It's like, but these girls died in the water. And the inquest is said is inconclusive. Now, when an inquest, and we're going on Brighton later, but I'm going to say now, when the coroner says that it's inconclusive, it doesn't mean that it's inconclusive whether they died, whether they died naturally or not naturally. It's inconclusive whether they were thrown into the water dead or alive. This is why they have extra tests. Yes, they were found in the water, but the coroner wants to know how they got in there. And there's different things happen if you're alive versus if you're dead. So, yes, Dal, how you doing, mate? I hope you're well. Everyone give Dal a big up in the chat. We're talking about a nice little topic. Hopefully you stay around till we go over to Kick, and hopefully the panel will open and it will be good. I'm testing that system still. I've still not done it. I was supposed to have done it ages ago. Right, so this is just conversations that we have, right? So let me just go through something for whilst we're here. So, what did I say? What did I just say? Inclusion matters. Can we see that? If you can't see things, let me know, right? Because it's massive on my screen. So this is inclusion matters for the College of Policing. Not that one. Let me just get this off. There we go. Right, for the College of Policing. The stage of practice, it's been independently evaluated. It's for the organisation. It's diversity. Oh, what's this word? Equality. Now we know that it's equity. So on their Inclusion Matters course, they've decided, hang on a minute, let us just change it around a little bit, because we don't want people to understand that actually what we are doing is manipulating people. We are going to be actively going wait there 1 minute. How has that happened? A whole chunk of this is gone. I was pissing about this before. A whole chunk of this is gone, but we'll go through it. That's not the right one. Wait there, people. That's not the right one that's come up. I'm pretty sure of it. That's not the right one. Here. I didn't get the right one up. Right. See, I was messing about with it and I pulled things off. That's where we stopped here, yeah? But this one, this is the bits that is, yeah, let's just go through this bit. Sorry about that, people. Right, so what the UK law actually said, the word equity does not appear in legal principle anywhere in UK statute. Right, the law is the Equality Act of 2010, and understanding the gap between what the Act says and what the DEI policy does is where the argument is. And most people on both sides of the debates never read either. So, what's mandated as the minimum? The Equality Act of 2010 requires organisations not to discriminate against individuals based on their protected characteristics. What is a protected characteristic? Everything. Your age, whether you're married or in a civil partnership, your religion or your belief, if you're disabled, if you're pregnant or you're on maternity leave, what sex you are, if you've got gender reassignment, what race you are, and what sexual orientation. So basically, everything is protected under the Equality Act. And one of the things as well is when people say that they're going to make sure DEI is scrapped completely, right? They basically mean they're going to do the Equality Act. So what people have got to ask is to say, okay, then cool, that's fine, we can do that, we need to do that. But why are you going further than what the minimum is? Because the minimum thing mandated is not to discriminate based on certain characteristics. So if we keep that as a bare minimum, then that's DEI gone. This is what's discretionary. Sections 158 and 159 of that Act allow positive action. Nobody hears about positive action. You all hear about positive discrimination, which is actually illegal. Positive action, though, and this is why you don't hear about it, is targeted training and support for underrepresented groups. Parliament wrote this as an option, right? Not as a requirement. So organisations choose to adopt it or not. We're seeing people now that are knocking it on the head, but this was a choice, right? This is not something that the law, again, when people say it's against the equality law, it's not, because it's a choice. These people have made a choice and you can come unstuck on it. Because what is prohibited is positive discrimination. And this is what people confuse. And they say everyone's promoting positive discrimination, but it's absolutely outlawed. And it's been in courts many, many times when they've won. Hiring a less qualified candidate to hit a demographic target, basically, is unlawful under the law. Now, here again, we're just going to get the two bits side by side. So this is where it's wrong. Right, let's go to this one. So if you hire a less qualified candidate to meet a demographic target, that is illegal, right? But if you're targeting training for underrepresented groups, that's legal. It's the same thing essentially, right? Moving somebody into a role without a competitive process based on their ethnicity, that's wrong. But if there's a tie break between two people and they're genuinely equal, you can't really put anything between them. Using an underrepresentation as the deciding factor, that's positive action. But you can't do it in a role without a competitive process being done. It's the same thing. But this is why they are forcing you to talk about positive discrimination, so they can just turn around and say, well, no, it's illegal. I can show you where it's been proven that it's illegal. And that's where the conversation finishes. But you've got to then turn around and say, no, because it's positive action. Show me where positive action is illegal. Show me where the tie break between the two people who are generally equal, or the widening of the application pool through different advertising channels. That's okay. But if you treat people, if you have mandatory demographic quotas with specific enforcement consequences, if you don't hit those quotas, that's illegal. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm making sense at the moment because the chat's gone and I'm going to get it back in a minute. So here's where the police were wound up in court in the UK employment tribunals, and they were found guilty of unlawful discrimination through their own diversity programs. People, if they can't even implement their own diversity programs, what help do we have when they have to implement it on the road? When they do a Henry Nova, they go there and automatically they're on the victim. They have to have a defensive thing, because if they don't, they can come under the equity laws or the equality law, whatever way around you want to put it. So Turner Robinson versus the Chief Constable of Thames Valley Police. So basically, Thames Valley Police run a positive action progression program, and that was to fast track all ethnic minorities into senior roles, basically. And then this detective inspector vacancy opened up, and an Asian sergeant, he was moved directly into there. Now, there was no process, there was no application settings, there was no advertising. And basically, he got in there. These white people were like, hang on a minute, we didn't know about this. Where was it? Well, how, what? So then what they did is they took him to court. Right, they took him to court, and the tribunal ruled that unlawful positive discrimination happened, and the force bypassed the competitive process entirely. The program crossed the positive action progression program crossed the statutory line. Race discrimination was committed in the name of fighting race discrimination. And that's it. This is one you need to go to. When people say, well, hang on a minute, white people have got no rights. You have all the rights if you implement them correctly. You have none of the rights if you listen to half of these YouTubers out there, right? They'll just have you as a victim. They'll have you as a victim just like the blacks. I'm telling you, just like the blacks, they'll do it. And again, don't believe me, just look out there. Look out there at your local podcast, your 1 hour, quick hit, quick fear podcast. Just go and do it. We've got all the time in the world. You know, I don't mind if I'm just doing this on my own in 2 o'clock in the morning, because people can watch it on the replay. I don't delete the, things. I deleted my whole catalogue, but that was for other reasons. That was because I was going to shut down the whole channel. The Furlong versus the Chief Constable of Cheshire Police at an employment tribunal. Cheshire Police run a large recruitment drive and basically declared that 127 candidates were equally qualified. Right? They're all exactly equal. Remember, when it's positive action, it's okay. And you can use the underrepresentation to do it. So this one said, well, actually, there's 127 candidates. They're all the same. Then they applied the tie break to fast track women, LGTB plus, and ethnic minority applicants. A high scoring white heterosexual male with strong assessment scores sued. You would do, wouldn't you? The tribunal ruled that unlawful direct discrimination. The candidates had widely different assessment scores. They were not all equal. They were artificially inflating the equal pool to create the tiebreak, and it was ruled as a blanket disproportionate approach. The diversity program has discriminated against the individual on the basis of his race and sex. So we've got 2 police forces. We've got 2 diversity programs designed to fight the discrimination, and they were both ruled by the UK employment tribunals to have committed unlawful discrimination. So when you hear the phrase diversity, equality, and inclusion to describe DEI, just tell them it's about equity, and that's where you should be looking. That's where the fight is, right? And then obviously we're going back now to the Kimberly Crenshaw, and then the inclusion matters. So I thought, yeah, that was important that I did put that back in there. Right, so this is Inclusion Matters. The aims of the Inclusion Matters Foundation course to educate the workforce on organisation culture, biases, banter, microaggressions, privilege, and the importance of being an ally. People, I don't even think I can read this. It's just so bad. Learn about the ethical policing principles and psychological safety. build trust and open communication with the workforce, create meaningful change, and embed inclusive policy practices. Share the 5 Ds of intervention: direct, distract. Hang on a minute. Distract shouldn't be a part of intervention. That's what they're doing. They do it in plain sight. Delay, delegate, document. This is what they're teaching them. So in 2018, His Majesty's Inspector of Constabulary and Fire and Rescue Services conducted a nationwide survey to assess the public's perceptions of the police. 65% of the respondents believe their local police force treated people fairly and with respect, whilst 49 said stop and search was appropriately used. Alongside this, in 2019, the first regional wellbeing service survey of policing surveyed more than 34,000 police officers, and the findings were highlighted that urgent action was needed to support the wellbeing of police forces. All right, so what did they do? They designed Inclusion Matters Foundation course, and the course was launched in 2021 with the purpose to inform, educate, upskill the workforce using work-related application of inclusive principles. Well, hang on a minute. 49% of the people that were surveyed nationwide said stop and search was appropriate, and 65% of them said the police were okay. I bet if you do that now, you do that survey now, I can guarantee you it's going to be 29% of people that said the police is okay, and they're going to be 75 people that say stop and search is disproportionate. Because this is what they've created. The diversity, the inclusivity has created the problems. Why? I will tell you why. Because the people can't sell a book on DEI or inclusion or inclusivity matters or any of these. What they can't sell you the course for 4,500 at a minimum. So they'll sell you a course, a booklet, a PDF that you go through, just like we're going through now. They will charge you £4,500. It goes back to the Marxists, goes all the way back to Crenshaw and all of these people. But if they sort it out, if they fixed all the racism and all of that stuff, they would have nothing to sell. Me, I want to go back to my life. Me, I want to go back to just doing absolutely nothing, enjoying life with the kids, going out, working, going to the pub, doing all this stuff without nobody bothering me. Me knowing that when the kids go to school, no teachers bothering them. Right? That's how we need to get back to. So that's why I do what I do. But again, and some YouTubers, they just want this constant cycle of fear, of solution. Oh, that's not going to work. Fear, solution, which is a non-solution solution, coming back round. And this is what they're doing. But they're actually creating more problems than they're trying to solve. Let's go through some of the chat here. Evening, Sophia. Welcome. It's good that you're back. I've seen you a couple of times now for the College of Clowns. The new definition of fascist is extreme right wing, whereas historically fascists were left wing, and more gaslighting from the controlling factions. And that's exactly my point. Language evolves. I said in the opening statement, language evolves. It changes. For when you are trying to make things the same, or they take that out. So they take out, fascism is left wing, is quite a big thing, and they say it's on the right. If enough people say it and enough people run with it, instead of putting them up, then it gets accepted in language. This is how it always starts. This is how we get the patois and things like that in English language. Look at the English dictionary. I bet it's got words in there that weren't in there 30 years ago. It's because people keep using them and it's acceptable. It's been made acceptable. Is it the Equality Act or the Equity Act? It's the Equality Act. Sorry if I said it, equity. Because they interchange, you know what I mean? It's like they're so similar and people don't realise. People don't realise kind of why they're hiding it, and it's literally because they can just say we're not doing this, we're doing that. You know what we're trying to do is we're not changing the outcome, because that's against the law, right? If everyone's got the same opportunity, that's what, not the outcome, opportunity, sorry. Everyone's got the same opportunity, right? We've all got the same opportunity to do everything that we do, but yet some people get there before others. Some people, it's just life, isn't it? But these people, the people who are powerful in equity studies and that, they're like, hang on a minute, let's manipulate it so people who would never get there because of their grouping or because of a characteristic. And that, as crazy as it is, if you do it the right way, it isn't illegal because you're still giving people the opportunity. You're not taking away an opportunity in a sense. You're just giving people all the tools, and you're hacking them. You're giving them the cheat code to advance. But these people should never be advancing because they're not there either intellectually or physically or whatever it is. There's a reason why people don't do certain things. There's a reason why I drive trucks and I'm not in the stockbroker, right? If they put me as a stockbroker and a stockbroker in my truck, I can guarantee both of us would be rubbish. The PCSO has won a tribunal after being sacked for asking a Muslim about Islam. Yeah, we spoke about that with Transporter. He showed me that. Taffy lad, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Evening, mods and everyone else. This whole race thing is a false construct. It's a form of programming, exactly, and that's what they're doing. It's all the group things, and it's all part of everyone else's agenda. So when you look back, and you're like, people think, why am I warring with everyone at the moment? Right? It's kind of like I can pick a fight. I can pick a fight with two people, right? Two of them both my friends. Very, very easy. But it seems, why am I at war with so many people? But if you look back, like most people do, you can see how connected certain things are. And it is a form of programming. So once you're programmed on race and speaking in this way and doing things in this way, then when you've been told to do something completely different, you've already been programmed to be that person, to accept the authority, to accept being told what to do, fall into this place. And then they just do it with something else. And yeah, all sorts of things. This is why I've got a sheet as well, because I go off topic. Does anyone else think that we've been dumped into an alternative reality? Well, that is probably for next week, because I know on Saturdays we can speak what we like, but the official schedule comes up next week. And do we think that we've been dumped in an alternative reality? I'm a firm believer, right? I'm a firm believer that things that we don't even know about, right? Shit we haven't got the concept of, happens all the time. And there's just certain things that, sometimes life just feels off. Like you wake up and everyone's off and you don't understand it. You don't really know why. It's just off, right? And then maybe a week later, it's gone and everything's back to normal. And you're just like, you speak to your pal, why was you off last week? And they're like, no, he wasn't. What? Do you know what I mean? So you could be right. There's so much stuff we don't know about, man. Life ain't just what we know. We can't be connected to the earth so madly, like through electricity, right? That's why it's your earth cord, right? It stops you getting electrocuted. Yeah, we can't be this being without knowing the rest of it. There's more to it. There has to be, and it's not even a religious thing. I just think there's so much thing. Tesla, he claimed he had Bluetooth and he could get free electricity. Now we've got Elon Musk, one of the most successful people with his business Tesla, with the electric cars, doing the electric, all the automated stuff and all of that, broadbands, everything. But what if he can get what if he knows how this electric from the sky or whatever comes, right? And all of this he's just doing because He's making a shit ton of money. It ain't costing him nothing. Every time you go to a Tesla machine and you pay for it, he's just like, we know where it comes from and we know it's free. How do you get your electricity? Where does it come from when you pay for it? You're with Empower or you're with Utility Warehouse or wherever you are. How is that electricity, water, gas, how is any of your utilities different priced? Because they all come through the same bit. They all come through the same pipe. There's not a Utility Warehouse pipe and an Empower pipe, and the electricity gets generated from the same place. Come on, people. So that's me. That's my bit of conspiracy for you for the night. It's like living in the Twilight Zone. It is sometimes. It really, really is. Race argument is old and very boring now, but it's coming back. Believe you me, it's coming back and you're not even ready for it. If you think that Black Lives Matter in 2021 was bad, I am telling you, it is going to come back in a force. It's going to come back angry. And it's not going to be just the blacks doing it. It's going to be all against all, unless we get a tip, or we get a grip of it, and don't let them people who are trying to manipulate a situation come through with it. I think it'll be the whites that will do it first, to be fairer. I think it will be that, and then you're going to get the blacks, the victimhood blacks will be like, oh, hang on a minute, I've got to stand up for my right, instead of sitting down and shutting the fuck up and saying, listen, let's join it, let's understand it. But if we all come together and say, we're not going to allow this kind of division that's coming through our society, we're not going to allow it. That's what we need to do. I agree, Danny. Something is really wrong. It baffles me. Really does, mate. Who really knows what the fuck CERN is about? What's CERN? I don't know. Coming back orchestrated. But exactly. That's the thing, Taffy. That's the thing. Orchestrated by who? Who will profit from it? It's probably no one that we could put a name to, right? So then you got to think about it and saying, why is it happening? And then you can say, actually, Dan, that's in your head. All right, cool. But then when we look at it and we look at other countries, we look at the Anglosphere, Canada, America, UK, Australia, probably missed out some other people. Look at what's happening there. Is it the same as what's happening here? Even though we're not connected by landmass or anything like that, we're not best mates and nothing's not like Wales and the UK. Yes, it is. Does something that happened here then suddenly go over to Australia, then suddenly hit Canada? Yes, it does. Is it all near enough the same, even though our cultures, our histories, our people are exactly different, right? 100% different. Yes, it is. So therefore, somebody has a vested interest in it. But again, it's people that we don't know what's happening, because we're just mere society people, right? We don't know any of the secrets. We don't know what goes on in the Vatican. We don't know what goes on in the deep state. We don't even know if the history that we've been taught is actually the history. We don't know none of this. But there are people out there who are manipulating. And I'm a firm believer that it's literally just very, very, gazillionaires, the top of the top. And they're just like, you know what? Like a game of Risk, right? And that's all they're doing. Their whole families are all just playing a game of Risk with people. And now's the time, if they said, I'll guarantee, or someone's put a bet on and said, I guarantee you, I can swap the continents. So I can get all the Europeans over in Africa, and I can get all the Africans into Africans, Middle Easterns, all that one, Southern Hemisphere to the swap it over, right? Because that's what it seems like is happening, and it's being allowed, and every country is doing the same mistakes and doing the same things, and yeah, it's too coincidental not to be orchestrated. But who? We don't know. I don't know. If anyone does know, I'd like to hear about it. I've always believed that we, as the lower classes, are manipulated by elites who believe wars are necessary once the world population reaches a certain level. and they are culling us. That's it. That's what war is anyway. War is a culling tactic anyway. Um, that's why they do it. You know, that's why they don't care with the Iran, America, fucking Israel. Listen, Israel says to America, we're going to bomb Iran. America's like, hang on a minute, let's do them first because we can then control the situation. So they do it first. Then Israel's like, well, if you're bombing Iran, right, I'm going to go to Lebanon. We're just going to bomb Lebanon. Oh, Lebanon ain't got nothing to do with this one bit. It doesn't matter. We're going to do this. Then America's like, oh, we'll just carry on doing this. And then, you've got the Houthis are saying, well, fuck it. If you're all bombing people, we'll start doing it. But there's no one there that's actually saying, do you know what? All of you are wrong, right? All of you shouldn't be doing this. Let's all sit down. This is countries. They're supposed to be the most powerful nations in the world. How can they not just sit down and say, listen, let's sort it out? Obviously, they want this to happen. Is it for money? Is it for an internal, internal globalist leadership? Who's going to be the most powerful leader on record for the globalists? What happens in Davos? No, none of us know. Nigel Farage does, though, but he's not saying nothing. Our people are not allowed in them places. Because if we did go to them places, then it's in trouble. And that's why Parliament is important for the working person. And that's why I study Hannah Spencer. And if you notice, Hannah Spencer, the Greens person, the turmoil that goes through her mind, right? Look at her. When she's in Prime Minister questions and all that, just look at her. Look how she acts in there than when she's doing a podcast and all of that. It's totally different. And I believe that once you're in there, you sign a bit of paper and says, congratulations, welcome to the globalists. Now, you will die if you speak a word of this. We will kill you. So she's trying to put little bits out by like saying, why is everyone drunk? And then everyone goes on to her. But she definitely acts different in her soul. Like you can definitely tell, look at her eyes. Look at her eyes before. It might be because she's controlled by Islam now. That she sold her soul to Islam. It might be that. I don't know. But something definitely happened when she went to Parliament. Could that be the magic? Yes, faith beyond fear. How you doing, my friend? I hope you're well. Oh, I missed that one. Could that be the magic electric generator that Nikola Tesla? Exactly. There's loads of stuff as well. There's loads of stuff I've seen. I've seen a Tesla or the scooters, the electric scooters. I've seen Tesla with Bluetooth. All of these things were invented way before us. We're just now using it because they wanted to throw us something. Now's the time. Do you think AI has just created itself so powerful in 3 years from before it couldn't even make Will Smith eat spaghetti? And now, what's Will Smith doing? Will Smith, you can't even tell whether it's him or not. I've got a picture somewhere of Obama, and the one that I said that was a real Obama, no, that was AI. There's free energy which Tesla tapped into. It's about power and money. Exactly that, Taffy. Originally created to give us free electricity. Did they kill him because they could middleman it and make a fortune? Yes, they did. It's the same as the guy who's the guy? It's not Henry Ford. It's Henry. There's a guy that made a car engine that was either on hydrogen or it was on water. I think it was made from water. A water-powered engine, I'm pretty sure. And then suddenly he died and nobody can find the blueprints. Imagine that. Just imagine that. It's absolutely crazy. Right, let me just get back to this bit. Right. Fuck it. We just get out of this one. Let's get out of this one. I like the natural conversations as well. All right, let's go to these ones. Because this is what we're kind of talking about. Let's go to this one. It naturally just took us to this place, right? So, yes. So, why people stop thinking? This is what we're talking about: manipulation, right? And we're going to go through these in detail. It's good. It's good. It's very, very interesting, right? Very interesting. So you've got the ACT conformity tests. So 75% of the subjects denied that they could clearly see a group and gave the wrong answer unanimously, right? The room doesn't need to be right, it just needs to be unanimous. So there was mandatory in institutions, mandatory trainings where no dissent is modeled, all staff emails celebrate in shared values. Dissenters assumed that they're the only ones who see it differently. Now imagine that. Imagine that. So what does that actually mean? That's what you're going to say to me. You're going to say, what is that conformity experiments? Well, look, I've got you. I've got you. So basically, this guy Solomon Asch was studying if and how individuals yielded to or defined a majority group and the effect of such influences on beliefs and opinions. So the early studies in social psychology were adaptations of earlier work on suggestibility, where researchers such as this Edward guy were able to shift the preferences of adult subjects towards a majority or an expert opinion. Still, the question remained of whether subject opinions were actually able to be changed, or if such experiments were simply documenting a Hawthorne effect where participants simply gave researchers the answers they wanted to hear. Now, the Hawthorne effect is going to be like the polling. They're going to say, what do you think about, and this is why Restore Britain say, what about prompting? We wasn't prompted. So they say, what do you think about Conservatives, Labour and the Green Party? If you're dressed like a Tory, you're just going to really say, a majority of people will say Tory, that's who I'm going to vote for. And if they're dressed like a Labour person, a lot of people will just say, yeah, Labour, because they just want to, they don't want a heated exchange or anything like that, right? So, they give the answer, they know what probably they want to hear. So these experiments on group conformity from the Solomon Asch was a mark in departure from these earlier studies by removing investigator influences from experimental conditions. The method: groups of 8 male students participated in a simple perceptual task. In reality, but all but one of the participants were actors. And the true focus of the study was about how the remaining participant would react to the actor's behavior. Now, the actors' true aim of the experiment, the actors knew the true aim of the experiment, but were introduced to the subjects after other participants. I'm not even reading this right because I'm thinking about something else here. Each student viewed a card with a line on it, followed by another with 3 lines on it, labeled A, B, and C. One of these lines were identical in length to the first card, and the other ones weren't. They were clearly shorter. Each participant was asked to say out loud which line matched the length on the first card. Before the experiment, all the actors were given instructions on how they should respond, and they did just that. The first 2 trials, the actors gave the obvious correct answer. On the third trial, the actors would all give the same wrong answer. The wrong answer occurred on 11th of the remaining 15 trials, and it was the subject's behavior on these 12 critical trials that the actors gave the same wrong answer. And this doesn't even make sense. This doesn't even make sense. Let me do a better one. This is why when I'm reading it, I'm just like, hang on a minute. This doesn't. They're just saying it so wrong. So basically, right? And let me find the YouTube bit. Basically, they're told to do the wrong answer. So we've seen this YouTube thing where they all sit in a room, right? And they all stand up when the bell goes off, and they sit down when the bell goes down, right? And then there's no bell, and they stand up, right? And then the person who doesn't hear the bell is just like, why are you all doing that? And then they sit down. And then they all stand up. And he's the only one sitting down, like thinking, what's going on? And then they all stand up. Then he starts standing up as well. This is what happens. It's the conformity test. Will you conform to the masses rather than be your independent self? Asch conformity experiment. What's this one? This one's 4 minutes. Let me put my ear stuff on. This will explain it much better, hopefully. I've not even watched this, right? I've not even watched this. Tell me if you can't hear it. Let me know.
But an experiment is not a public opinion poll. It examines behavior under the pressure of social forces, as the experiment of Solomon Asch reveals.
The experiment you'll be taking part in today involves the perception of lengths of lines. As you can see here, I have a number of cards, and on each card there are several lines. Your task is a very simple one. You're to look at the line on the left and determine which of the 3 lines on the right is equal to it in length. All right, we'll proceed in this order. You'll give your answer.
Only one of the people in the group is a real subject, the 5th person with the white t-shirt. The others are confederates of the experimenter and have been told to give wrong answers on some of the trials. The experiment begins uneventfully as subjects give their judgments.
2,
2,
2,
2,
2, 3,
3, 3, 3.
But on the 3rd trial, something happens.
2, 2,
2,
2, 2.
The subject denies the evidence of his own eyes and yields to group influence.
1.
Asch found subjects went along with the group on 37% of the critical trials. But he found through interviews that they went along with the group for different reasons.
1.
1.
They must be right. There are 4 of them and 1 of me.
1.
This subject's yielding is based on a distortion of his judgment. He genuinely believes that the group is correct.
1.
1.
1.
2.
1. 2. 2.
2.
I know they're wrong, but why should I make waves?
2.
In this case, the subject knows he is right, but goes along to avoid the discomfort of disagreeing with the group. Here, the distortion is at the level of his response.
2.
2.
2.
2.
In the previous experiment, the naive subject stood alone against the group. In this variation, Asch gave the naive subject a partner, here seated in the 3rd position, who also gives the correct response.
1.
1. 2.
1. 2.
With a partner, yielding drops to only 5% of the critical trials compared to 37% without a partner. Although subjects report warmth and good feeling toward the partner, they typically deny that he played a role in their own independence. The partnership variation
You see that?
shows that much of the power of the group came not merely from its numbers, but from the unanimity of its opposition. When they
There you go. And that's it. That's how people mess about with us. That's how they mess about massively with what we're doing and how we are. While we try to get net zero pushed down our own necks, they created electric cars back in Second World War days. Yeah, I'm sure of it. We've seen it. We've seen it. Victorian scooters. Victorian electric. I don't know if this is true. Do you know what I mean? Is this electric scooters? Tell me, is this true or not? I can't even find it. I'll find it and I'll put it up in the community bit. This is all going to the seven best scooters, electric scooters money can buy. But look at that, the conformity experiments. Now, if we look at certain things that are happening today, will we say, or actually, yeah, we can see where this group conformity is actually playing. Hydro engine that run on water, faith beyond fear, water. Yeah, all right, cool. That's what it was. That's what it was. We got this one. Did you see that Russia is considering lowering the age to 12 to work as they need people for work? Now, I have not heard about that. I don't know what UTK is. She's heard about it. No, she hasn't heard it either. Or he hasn't heard it either. They haven't heard it either. There's a lot of there's a lot of propaganda going about against Russia as well. So I wouldn't really believe that it was going to be down to 12. But if it was 12 in certain jobs, and the problem is a 12-year-old today is not the same as a 12-year-old 30 years ago, 40 years ago. When I was 12 and the people are 12 now are totally different. Absolutely, totally different. I would never do anything that the 12-year-olds are doing now. Absolutely not. So would it be child labor if that person says, yeah, you know what? I've never liked school. I get into trouble all the time. You know, I could train to be a brick, a brickie or a lecky or something like that. I wouldn't see too much of a problem with that, to be fair, as long as it wasn't chimney sweeping or, picking the asparagus or whatever like that. Tesla was taken out by an organ chase because of the free energy issue. I thought that's what it was. It's very predictable once you take race out of the equation. Exactly that. Well, so I'm so behind on the chat. I've just got to drop it down to the bottom. Milk floats around my way was all electric. Be around forever. Yeah, remember that. Remember the electric. And you know what? When the electric cars come out, that's a good point actually. Because when the electric cars come out, everyone's like, oh, do you know what? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. But we're thinking, hang on a minute, we've seen the electric milk floats our whole entire life. Even now, like we don't see them now. Or the milk floats are probably gone. I've still got it around here, but he's got a transit. Not a transit, it's a low loader. What do they call it? A tipper truck. He does it in that. I learned that lesson fast, and now I question everything and everyone. You have to. I nicked a milk float once, only for a minute, for the milk he chased us. No, our milk float when we was younger was absolutely crazy. All of them were crazy. He'd be like, "Give us a lift home," after going Destiny or whatever nightclubbing. But yeah, you'd always get a nice free bit of milk off of them. No, but here's a point. I was doing paper rounds when I was 7. Yeah, exactly. And it's not exact. A lot of people did. A lot of people did that. But even still, I bet you was different than the 7-year-olds now. 7-year-olds now would never do anything like that anyway. They all just want to do nothing, essentially. Spear thrower. Electric cars were around 40 years before the petrol-powered cars. Interesting. Taffy, I've gone the same way. Everything gets scrutinized. Everything has to get scrutinized. Everything and anything has to get scrutinized. And if it doesn't get scrutinized, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're absolutely doing yourself a disservice. Right, what's the other one I wanted to talk with? What was this one? We're just going to go through it now because I've here we go. Here's another one. Groupthink. This is all official. It's a psychological phenomenon that occurs when a group of people in which the desire for harmony or conformity in the group results in an irrational or dysfunctional decision-making outcome. Now, we can see that today as well. We can see that today because have you noticed how many people now are taking the knee for Henry Novak, right? It's important. It's important that Henry Novak issue comes out. But all of these kind of group things, yeah, where I see a whole lot of people doing it, and I'm like, that's strange. That's strange. That's like, to me, someone has put that into it. And when you look at the Southampton riots that happened, the people that were on the front line, I've never seen any of them at the start. The ones who all took the knee, the rules were telling the police officers take the knee. And I understand why people are doing it, because if you're going to do it for the blacks, you can do it for Henry Nova. I get that 100%. But it's kind of like if they do it, then what's going to happen then? Somebody else is going to say you shouldn't have done it. We've been telling them you shouldn't be doing it. Now we're saying it's very cross lines, but it's kind of, can we get the groups to do this up and down the country? If we start in Southampton, can we get people in Liverpool and in Glasgow to do it? If we do, then we know that they are all susceptible to group thinking. This is what the government does. The government is a manipulator. It manipulates us at every single opportunity that we try to do. It's not our friend. Banned again travel from East London to South to watch Millwall play. Do you know what? Everyone, you have to do that to watch Millwall play. I went to watch Watford play in Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace. I got so done for that. Absolutely done for that. I used to jump the fence at the shed and ended up behind the pie stand when I was 10. We was all doing stuff. So we would probably, do a paper round or do some of these types of jobs that they're talking about. Let me get to these ones. These as well. Look at this ones here, right? Take a screenshot, everyone. You're all on your phone. Take a screenshot of these, because these are, I do believe, if you wanna challenge a lot of things, these are the books and essays and PDFs or whatever are the ones to do. You got obviously 1984, George Orwell. You got Friedrich Hayek, The Road to Serfdom, Hannah Arendt, The Origins of Totalitarianism, Edward Bernays, Propaganda, and Chomsky and Herman, Manufacturing Consent. I think these are all important reads. Now we're talking about, we was in the chat was talking about Novak a little bit. I've got my own opinion on Novak, and I do want to share it with people. Again, it's the type of hustlers who are trying to turn what they see and what they hear and what's happening into, I believe, a manufactured outcome. I honestly do. So we know what happened. Digwa murdered Henry Novak. He was convicted for a minimum of 21 years, right? Hampshire police have that DEI program, the Inclusion Matters, which is this one. Is there anything? Let me just look at this one. Evaluation. Now it's just basically 6,257 officers and staffs and volunteers have completed it. The course has been promoted positive attitudes and behaviours towards diversity, equality and inclusion in the workplace. There's been positive feedback from the workforce. Participants have stated that their experiences with trainers were authentic, credible, interesting and challenging. Well, you're not going to say against your trainer that the trainer was a Marxist or the trainer was a race baiter, is a race hustler, I hated them. You're not going to say that because you're trying to be, they're trying to indoctrinate you. Sure, that would challenge. 93% of respondents agree or strongly agree that they would challenge inappropriate behaviour of a colleague. Now, that doesn't mean absolutely anything, because if you do see inappropriate behaviour of a colleague, what is there to say that you've got the confidence to do it, right? So we know what happened anyway, and the IOPC is doing its own thing with Novak, and I never really want to do this, but I am going to do it, and we're gonna see the body cam footage because it's important to what I'm saying, right? So, so it's important. We've got Baraka. Baraka's going on a trolling mission. He is going on a trolling mission, but I love it. I really do. Right, let me get this up. And if you don't want to see it, it's 3 minutes. And yeah, do something else for the next 3 minutes. But we're going to do it because it's important. Right? It's important. So here it is. So it's 2 minutes and 57 seconds. And we're seeing it as the guy is walking up to the thing. And this is what people are not saying. So he's walking up. He's assessing the situation here now, yeah? So we've got blurred out 1, we've got blurred out 2, we've got 3 and 4. We've got multiple letterboxes, so this is probably a HMO, right? With all the multiple letterboxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a HMO, an 8-bedroom HMO, possibly a lot more if it's a big house and you can double up at the back, right? So there's a lot more people who could be having a witness testimony, but these ones we've not heard what any of these witnesses have said.
My dad's holding it now. Right. He keeps dropping side to side, so I'm just trying to keep him set up.
So this person, so he keeps dropping side to side, so I'm trying to keep him up. Okay, we know this is at 23:37. You can't see that because I'm in the way, right? So let me see if I can. Right, but on there, look at it. It's 23:37 and 24 seconds. He's holding them up. When did this incident happen? Did this incident happen at 23:30? And this is a standard 7-minute time. Or did this happen at 11:15? Or maybe 5 past, maybe 11 o'clock? And it's been 40 minutes. How long has this whole incident been going on for?
He's got a mouthful of blood. I don't want him.
I can't breathe. He was on the bin on the other side of this gate.
He's jumped
God
over
bless
these
him,
fences
man.
and stuff like that.
Oh, here.
And he's up
Move
here.
away, mate.
He's obviously fallen
Right.
from there and he slipped from there.
There's other shooters left over there, mate.
What's your name, mate? Huh? Has anyone been hurt other than him?
Yeah, me.
He's grabbed my brother. He's took my turban off.
Right, so you got him, the murderer. You got this guy. You got 2 more people behind there. Where are these testimonies?
Started grabbing my head.
Are you injured?
Yeah, I've got swollen eye, little bruise.
Alright, just step back a little bit for me. Someone flag these down.
Got this stud.
Right, let's get you out of there, shall we? Oh.
I was in bed asleep. Whenever just find me up there, look, someone's attacked me.
I can't breathe.
Grab his other arm.
Well, I'll show you something that I'm not seeing anyone pull up either.
I'm running around the corner.
What's happened to you, right?
This stud.
You've been stabbed? Whereabouts? Don't think you have, mate.
There. Do you see that there? This here, and you see this bit here, and you see this here. All right? Whether or not it's a shadow or anything else, but this suggests this is a blood trickling down. And I reckon an injury, somewhere about there it's come from. You can see it on that little slide there. Just there. And if you look at his hands as well, right? There's the same splatterings over there. It's very, very similar. Look. So if you lifted this top up, I reckon you're going to find a whole big bit of claret. Why are we not knowing about this? We don't have to know about it all, but it makes it more open to the people through the police. They're trying to
Put
say
the
that
hand in the cuff, mate.
they're trying to say right about now that they're doing the right things. This is the footage that they brought out. Who did this? Who edited this? Why is his camera not in public evidence? Why are the 2 girls who come, their cameras are not in public evidence? We are being told this is the be-all and end-all. This is what you are going to be watching. This is what we are going to manufacture a lot of anger from. But we're not going to tell you the whole thing. We're going to put it all out separately. The telephone call. What time was the 999 call that we all have heard? What time was that? How comes the ambulance didn't come the same time as the police? Normally you would if you've had a stabbing or something like that.
This is like the times this has happened to us. We've been walking, we parked literally there. Multiple times we've had people racistly attacked us and nothing happened.
These people, all these blurred out are people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where are their testimonies? Where's this police officer? That's a police. Maybe that's not one of the people at the back, but that's a light of the camera. That's a light there. Where are their testimonies? Yeah, see, that is a cop. There you go.
Someone's been stabbed, so
Where
let's
is it
just
you
check
think you've
him.
been stabbed? In the face? Oh no, but we have to check, don't we?
That's the training there. The immigrant says he hasn't been stabbed, and she doesn't want to feel that she's going to be like a supremacy over him. So he's like, oh, we've just got to check. She should be like saying, shut the fuck up, let me do my job.
Right.
In the face?
Just get these back
There's
off.
two more shoes. There's two shoes there, so it's definitely two different people. Where's the other
Keep you on
webcam?
your side, mate. You got to retrieve then.
So again.
Saying to him, keeping him on his side. We were sat up when we had him here, but he didn't like it.
And there.
What's your name, mate?
God bless. It's past now.
At the moment, you are under arrest. That's for assault, so you do not have to say anything, may harm or defence. If you do not make your main question.
You heard it just went quiet. Just gone quiet. There's a moment where there's an eerie, it's an expired moment. But yeah, look at young Baraka. He's trolling everyone. Yeah, so that's it. Hey Louise, how you doing? I hope you're well. So that's my questions. That is my questions that people are not seen to be asking. What happened? Why have we got that one bit of footage and we haven't got the rest of the footage? Why? It makes no sense. Here's my questions. Right? Is the body cam footage circulated the complete footage? Who made that selection of what to release and when? What occurred? And this is what I hope everyone else can use as well. What occurred the period before the body cam was activated? What was the full sequences of events that brought the officers to the location in the first place? We haven't been told any of this. We haven't been told it in a newspaper. We haven't been told it when the court case was going on. What specific training did these officers receive about handling race-related allegations, and when did they receive it? Well, we know about that because that's the inclusion matters. And we know that, 93% of them said it was very good. But then again, we do also know that 1 in 7 said that it was very diverse. It was very, it created a division and people didn't like it. The officers said they felt controlled and pressured after the exclusion matters program. What does the institutional pressure around race relations mean for a split-second use of force decisions? That's very, very important. Would they be prepared not to pull the trigger because it was a black guy and get themselves killed in the worst situation? I don't think they would. I think race relations would come out of it. So why do they selectively use it in certain cases? Was it because he was on his own, right? He was on his own and he looked around and he saw a lot of ethnics and he didn't really know what was going on. So he wanted to be the lower down. He wanted to be the beta male. And that there caused the whole run of events. But also, why is it important that we know the full sequence of events that brought the officers to the location? Why is that important? Because we're getting podcasters, YouTubers, international political commentators, people from America. They're very interested in this. Asman Gold, Yank Cure, whatever his name is, all of them lot. The black girl, I can't remember what her name is now. Candy, everyone, right? It's talking about it. And it's gone. My mind's gone. Yes. And they're talking about this 2 minutes and 57 seconds. But we don't know for certain that the time frame is within 20 minutes of him being alive and from him dying. We don't know if they left him for half an hour, 45 minutes, came back, he's still there. Fuck, we better call the police then. Let's make this thing. We don't know the timeline of events. So whilst people say that the police could have done something, he might have been there for a long time beforehand. And whenever the police came, because it was so late, they wouldn't be able to do anything. And this is not me saying to the police, trying to give them a way out or anything, because I think the police, how they've been acting since COVID. I'm not one of these new people who say, oh yeah, fight the police. Now, I've been saying that from COVID, right? I've never changed my mind. It's just that, the general perception, no one really agrees with it when I was saying it back then, but now everyone's on it. Because why? Is it because of everyone's conforming? Group pressures, group thinking. Everyone's saying, you don't want to be the odd one out. I don't mind being the odd one out. I stand up all the time. We did it, me and Roy did it in with Reform. We was doing it against a whole heap of people. You lot are leftists, you lot are Labour if you do this. And we ain't budging on this one. We know the score on this one. We ain't budging, right? So there are people who don't conform. But we don't know, because we don't know the official timeline, what actually happened and how he could have been saved. We don't even know if the police were there for 20 minutes, half an hour beforehand. We don't know that. That is all important. If you release the body cam, release all the body cams. What changed between the initial police assessment of events and the decision to prosecute? I'm not sure they're going to be prosecuting. One of them's already left. I think one's just slipped the country, and one's, one retired or something like that, didn't they? Or they something like that, stepped down. One's left the country, and I think one, I can't even remember, but I don't think they're going to get prosecuted anyway, to be fair. But they should be. Every one of them should be. And the chief constable as well. And whoever put this DEI training in place, because obviously it had a situation. What situation could it have? It could have the psychological situation, like people constantly monitor whether their opinions are acceptable. All of these things could be there. The spiral of silence. People constantly monitor whether their opinions are acceptable or not. And when they sense that they are in the minority, they go quiet. They don't bother fighting their corners. Oh yeah, nudge theory. I wanted to do the nudge theory as well, to be fair. Loads of these. Authority by loads of these, could have all helped Henry survive. Or they couldn't. Because what happened before. Yeah, that's just my take on it anyway. That's my take on that one. I can't remember why I put most of these in here now, because we've gone on a tangent. I did try to keep it to what we're doing. Obviously, I've got it all here. All I've got to do is go through the tabs, but obviously, I don't like doing that because we're all together and it's good to speak to everyone. Danny and chat. Let me see what's going on here. Let's go through the chat for a little bit. Now, this is all coming through when the police were there. 100% the police are responsible. It looked like he was convulsing there. Yep, on both of them. Allegedly, the interaction lasted just under an hour. You see? So an hour. What am I doing? Why is that not coming? Oh, it's coming up at the top. Let me go into this. Let me go into full screen. None of it makes sense. Exactly. None of it does make sense. Roy's take on it is what's fucked up is they were trained to behave in that way. Again, yes, they probably were. I'm not going to make any excuses for them. They probably were. But number one, you have your own authority. Again, it goes down to conformity. It goes down to all of these tests that people are doing on others, and people know that they are, some people are perceptive to it, Some people will accept it and some people just won't. So whilst they were trained to it, they have their own mind and they should be having their own mind. But whilst we have all of these things where Chris Cubber, a black criminal, was going to be ramming a police officer. The armed police officer shot him dead. Mark Duggan, a gangland player with a gun, shot dead, right? These people have their whole lives turned up and around because they did that with against the blacks. So when the police officer goes there, automatically they don't want to do that, and that's the biggest issue. This DEI training and all the critical race theories and all of that, that's fine, right? We can get rid of that, but still, will we have police officers too weak to say, I've made that decision, I don't care, I'm going to deal with it? They don't. They would rather just say, oh, look, there's a lot of colours here. Let me just be very, very much on their side because the whites won't sue me. But we've seen from before that the whites do. You're gonna get sued. You're gonna be in trouble. Look what's happened now. It might not be as bad as what the Baxter did, but it's sure as shit is bad. Sure as shit, and in that police officers, you're going to be hounded by the people until justice on you lot got served for the rest of your life. And it's not saying that we're gonna bully them or we're gonna stalk them and all that, but we'll be demanding that the police and the CPS and all these people, they do their jobs. The censored footage must be more incriminating to the police. It has to be. Exactly, it has to be. What they released, and that's why I want to know who released it. Who authorized that? Why did they authorize just one body cam? And also, do you know what else as well? Do you know how else I know it's bullshit what they've sent out? It's because there's no ambulance there. Or is it because no ambulance came? Because no one actually actively called the ambulance, as in a 999. It's like, oh, when the woman said his pupils are not reacting. Everyone knows the situation there. So what happened from then? Did they just stand around? It's not an emergency now. There's no way of saving him. We already know they were walking around with the Sikh, trying to get chocolates and trying to get food for the police station and that type of stuff. And he was never handcuffed. So were they having, well, poor Henry is lying dead on the stones? Were they just having a jolly? I want the full body cam. I want it from the moment he's turned it on to the moment it's turned off. And if there's no ambulance there, I want a police officer's body cam with the ambulance and the timings. Or is this going to be like Epstein? The edited footage of Epstein, when you can see the clock go from 11:59 to 12:00:01. And that bit was edited. That bit clearly was edited. It was edited out. No one's ever saying, you ain't never seen who went into that cell and who either murdered him or took him out walking. You ain't never going to know what happened. You ain't never going to know the true truth. You're not going to see photos. You're not going to see him dead blue, hanging off the railings or whatever. You ain't never seen none of that. And I fear this case is going to be the same. I know the ambulance took an hour to attend. Manchester Airport, exactly that. Exactly that. Manchester Airport, we've seen it. We can see it again. The amount of violence that was given, the amount of violence that was there, and still they have to try to say to a police officer, to a jury, oh, can you find him guilty of punching the guy? Yes, he did punch him, but was it provoked? And this is the problem as well with this DEI stuff. Half of it says we only do that. We've only done that because of this. Now we've seen Bristol. We know what happened at Bristol. I've seen everyone share the picture of the statue going into the water. But I have not seen a single person, and I've not done this purposely because I want to know who will do it. I've not seen anyone do any streams or anything on the court case because those people who put it into the water, they admitted that they put it into the water. In Bristol Crown Court, they said that we put it into the water. We rolled it down and we did the criminal damage. But the reason why we did it was because of racism and colonization and all of the buzzwords. And they managed to get the jury to either be silent, which is a psyops thing, we've seen it on there, or they got them to conform to them and said, no, you are found not guilty, even though you admitted it. We find you not guilty because we accept you did it for a reason. I've not seen people do that, to be fair. Maybe I should try and get the transcripts right now. Airport, Manchester. I don't want to see people. I want to see the attack. I want everyone to understand, you know? And maybe this was part of it. Who knows? That they didn't want...
My feet are killing me.
Wait there, let me just change this around.
Dr. Scholl's 24-hour energy insoles with boosting beats.
Maybe they didn't want to be on the flip side of this because they just saw people. It's ITV News. I don't want ITV News. I don't want the Times. And you see, and do you remember what I said as well? Let's get this full screen. Do you remember what I said when I said about YouTube is showing... There's a European standard where they promote the authorized people. So basically the trusted individuals, they start promoting the news cycles, right? Now just look at this. Oh, it's on the wrong monitor. We're getting there, people. We are getting there. What am I doing? YouTube, ITV News. I think that's what it is. All right, can you see all down here? So Manchester, basically I searched for Manchester airport attack. Right, let me get that off for a second. So you can see down here, Manchester airport incident. This is Dawn News. This is Independent. This is ITV. This is the Times. This is Swins. This is Sky News. So the ones they're trying to show me is all the mainstream media with a couple chucked in. That's what they're trying to show me. The Times News, warning. So they're not even showing normal YouTubers who would actually give an unbiased opinion and show you actually the full videos, because I don't believe these will be the full videos. But let's just recap Manchester Airport and maybe a possibility why the police capitulated to all the people down there and immediately went to Henry Novak has been, and whatever way you look at it, right? It's absolutely disgusting, and these people need to go. It is corporate manslaughter, no matter what people say. It really, really is. It's not this malfeasance in public office. That's too low of a sentence. Whatever happens, the person, and the two girls who came later on, they did nothing apart from arrest him. Whatever way you want to look at it, however you want to look at your DEIs and your CRTs and all your examination evidence and all of that, doesn't matter. When it comes down to it, he did nothing. That is the be-all and the end-all, and that's what we need to get them into court and say, you did nothing to help him survive. Again, we need all the timeline as well, because he might turn around and say, listen, we didn't get the call until this time afterwards, or, it took us 40 minutes to get to it because they didn't say it was a true 999 call or whatever. We need the full story. This is Manchester Airport.
I'm with them, Tom, they're fine.
Oh, it's not the full. See, it's not the full bit. They're already arrested. Look what he's done to her.
Are you okay? All right. Calm down, you can't.
Calm down. Look at it, it's dripping down. It's dripping down. Yes, he got found guilty. But it's absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible what they did to him. And then they just said, oh, do you know what? It's got to be the white person with Novak. Can't believe it. Police couldn't find an original account. Yeah, I'm sure they couldn't. I'm sure it's in somewhere deep down. No, Henry was under the drink driving limit after he'd been out. Yeah, he didn't look like the kind of person who gets sloshed. He didn't. He looks like the kind of person, all right? He looks like the kind of person who would just he'd just walk in a bar, very, very Jack the lad, let's just say, right? But one of the funny ones, the Jack the lads that you can have a banter with. I bet he's one of them, and I bet he has a couple, and then that's it. It's like I want to keep myself safe for the ladies. I'm making sure that the ladies they'll be safe. I don't need a drink. I'm all right. I've got a whiskey. I've got a whiskey here. Do you know what I mean? One of those kinds. Such a shame. Absolutely such a shame. I've been saying fuck the police since NWA. Louise, he was known shit stirrer in his own temple and robbed a year ago. Yeah, and we've seen that video of him and the sword. People said no, that was his brother. It wasn't. It was him on an earlier incident where he said again to the Polish. And this is something as well that people don't understand. There is ethnic wars that go on. Like the blacks in Birmingham. If anyone's from Birmingham, you can say if it's true or not. But the blacks and the Asians do not get on. So if you go to like Answorth or you go to Lascelles or Newtown or Erdington, these lots, they don't get on. Literally, just don't get on. And that's where you get a lot of the gang violence. Yes, I think lots of jab coppers seem to being disconnected from humanity. I think so. Yeah. The whole point of CRT and DEI training is to psychological install imaginary guilt and shame for things they never did. It's about control. It is about control. If you look at the people we spoke about before, Kimberly Crenshaw, Ibram X Kendi, Robin DiAngelo, all these people have so much power within these diversity training manuals. They literally can do what they like. Even if they couldn't have saved him, he should have passed with someone holding his hand and comforting him at least. Innocent until proven guilty. Exactly that. But do you remember what the chief constable said? We was lied to basically through the whole way, right? So let me see if I can get it up, because it showed me that they are not in control. So in Southampton, and I know a few people in Southampton, and I'm gonna go down there to see if I can prove this point. But my point is this: that they are not in control. That the Indians down there, the Sikhs and all of that, have the majority control. Now we know that in areas, it's not the police that control the areas, right? We know that. Coming to my area, COVID, the local pub during COVID, when we're not allowed to be sitting down, we're in there. Do you know? We're in there having it. You don't see a police officer there because they know that we'll sort it out. If there's a fight that goes on or someone's bad or something goes on, a kid's gone missing, you put it out into a WhatsApp group and we just deal with it. We find them, we go out, we do what we got to do. And that's the power of community. So you've got that style of community, but then you've got another style which wants to empower you because they've been given a special privilege. Usually it's the Islamists, it's the Islamic community, but also I do believe the Indian community have this vested interest too. So is the community leaders the ones who spoke to the police? They've got a dedicated line. Were they lied to then? We've had a few people in the chat now saying this was going on for an hour. This incident was going on for an hour. Now, that is not a standard police call-out time. So what was the conversations beforehand? Who knew? What happens? We know from Madeleine McCann over in Portugal, and I know this is going off on a bit of a tangent, but we know from Madeleine McCann over in Portugal that the McCains, they were actually friendly with Gordon Brown. And they actually spoke to either a representative or Gordon Brown himself and were told what to do. And one of the things that they were told, do you remember when they made the Aguidos and they left the country? One of the things they were told is leave that country. Leave it before they put a warrant on you. And then they left and they were called a suspect. So these things happen behind doors with normal everyday people and high ranking people. So that's one of the things that I would want to know. Is it controlled by Indians? Is that area controlled by Indians? Is it a very diverse area, and that's what happens? Who's the councillors? What's the ethnic makeup of Southampton councillors in general? I don't know. Did the judge not mislead, lied to the jury? What in about the other one? About the Bristol one? Is that what you want about? I'll get it up. 1 second, give me 1 second. Caution. Do. We got it here. Can you see that? Yes. So these are the people here. This is from the BBC. You can trust it or not. It's entirely up to you. It's no point. This is Olasonga, who's a liar. He's one of the biggest liars on the internet. The acquittal of 4 people charged with criminal damage after tearing down the statue of Edward Colston is a landmark in British coming to terms with its past, TV historian said. The memorial to the slave trader was toppled during Black Lives Matter protests in Bristol. Ryan, Milo, Sage and Jake stood trial. The defendants, all from Bristol, apart from Ponsford, who is based in Hampshire, were charged after the monument's 17th century slave trade was removed and thrown into Bristol Harbourside. The judge in case feared undue pressure was being placed on the jury by the language from the defence barristers. So the judge said that the language from the defence barristers was trying to put pressure on them. I don't think this is going to actually show me that they went guilty. In closing, Mr. Walker said to the jurors the decision would reverberate around the world and urged them to be on the right side of history. Is that the... Okay, so that was the QC. One of the barristers said, English, then real offence. The result that the ruling that the mobs proceed to tear down the victim, change names, what's that, she's gone. Here we go. See the analysis by Charlotte Callan, Home Affairs correspondent, named the Colston 4 by their supporters. They admitted helping to pull the statue down and roll it into the water, but legal experts argued the jury had perfectly lawful routes to acquit them. The defence teams presented a comprehensive history about Edward Colston and the long battle in Bristol, including public petitions spanning 30 years to have the statue removed. They also presented the jury with 3 complex legal arguments. The first was defence of the prevention of crime, whether the statue itself constituted as an offence under Section 5 of the Public Order Act. So they said the statue was so offensive itself, it was criminal. Right, it was breaking the law. Secondly, they argued the jury should consider whether the statue constituted indecent display under the more obscure Indecent Displays Act of 1986. It's crazy. Finally, they argued the conviction of the defendants would have been a disproportionate infringement of the rights under all of these Human Rights Acts, right? But yeah, it says it there, right? They admitted to helping pull the statue down and roll it into the water, but legal experts argued the jury had perfectly lawful routes to acquit them. So there we go. There we go. Right, IPOC woke as fact. Yeah, you can't have the police looking at the police. Sorry, you can't do it. Police constable's oath is to the Queen and law, not to superiors or politicians. No, exactly, Bandigan. And you remember during COVID when it first came out and the Federation of Police said, we are not here to police what the government wants to do. One day you say that this is the law, the next day you change it and say this is a different law. We are not there to do that. We're there to to uphold the law. And what they did was something happened behind the scenes, and then the police were very happy to do it. And I believe they gave them immunity from everything. They gave them immunity from any type of suing, sacking, or whatever. And that's why they come down so hard, because they knew they could do what they like. And most coppers are wankers. Agreed, Danny. Police and military need the backing of the government, the true independent oversight. Yes. Vox Populi have the 999 call in full. Well, it's the call that they've given to you. And this is the problem, mate. This is where it's coming from. I can't trust that that's the full call without having, and it might be on there. I'm going to look on Vox Populi, but if it doesn't have a timestamp somewhere, and it doesn't show anything that's not edited, because we'll listen to it. I'm going to go into it. I'm talking like I know, but I've never seen it. Right? I've seen an edited version. I've not seen the full version. So we'll go through it. I shouldn't have said that. So I apologise, Shorts Nation. We'll discuss it. I'll give you my opinion afterwards. The police officers are getting younger. I think it was young police officers that attended to him. Older ones would have been better, but they've left because of all the woke diversities on play. The emergency call was played on Thorpe's today. Yeah, I bet it was. UTK's agreeing with band. The kids who have been given the power and they're brainwashed by the system. Exactly that. And then David Lammy, was it David Lammy or somebody else? One of them ones who said they're going to ban kids from the internet under 16 years old. They're going to ban them from the internet. And then Keir Starmer says 16-year-olds can vote. So who are they getting their political values from? The Marxist education system. That's who. They said it was complex. Oh, sorry, I was supposed to put it up. They said it was complex. It wasn't that complex. Yep. RAF helicopter crashed was a newly passed female pilot. The RAF are very DEI. They are as well. They're one of the worst ones, actually. They're one of the ones that put through a lot of black and female lesbians. Maybe that was a female lesbian. Well, obviously it's a female if it's a lesbian, but you know what I mean. Yes, they're not mandated, but the police were furious at being left until last to get their doses. And this is the COVID vax. I bet they still took it out of fear. Everyone takes it out of fear. Everyone who took it out of fear. We should have a TR statue put up in Luton. The locals would love it. Yeah, sure. They would really love it. That's what we need to do it just because they would love it so much. But no, they didn't. There does need to be a statue. I'm agreeing to that. But it's not going to be in our lifetime. And hopefully it'll be in my daughter's lifetime. But it might be even later than that. We might be looking at 50, 100 years down the line. At this point, I think most of history has been rewritten. Do you know what, Louise? When I'm doing all my research and everything, you know what I'm like when I'm talking. I'll go down such a tangent, right? And I was doing something, and I got up an old video when I used to be arguing with the Black Lives Matter people, with the radical blacks, right? And they said to me one time, they said, the history is written by the victor. And obviously, white people were victory in Africa and all this kind of stuff. So that's why our history is being removed and blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, yeah, whatever. I was having my own arguments and that. And then I come away from it. And then I was thinking to myself, do you know what? That's actually right. History is written by the victor. And then this come up, right? So let me go into this. Let me Google something. What should I Google? I'll Google Black Lives Matter. BLM, right? No, I've got to do a question. Was BLM Marxist? All right? So now what Google's done is as a standard, it does it now. it gives you an AI overview. And this AI overview, it tells you more or less everything you need to do. Is it Patrice Collars, right? And Alicia Garza. See, look, I just needed one thing earlier on and it's right here. So I asked, was Black Lives Matter Marxist? So it tells me Black Lives Matter movement is not a single political group. So whether it's Marxist depends on whether you mean the grassroots activists or the original Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation organization. That's how it breaks it down. It breaks it down and it says, do you want anything else to ask? So I say, was Kimberly Crenshaw directly involved, right? So I've got a follow-up question. I've seen that and I'm like, right, is Kimberly Crenshaw directly involved? No, she wasn't directly involved. So I'm like, okay, this is the Intellectual Foundation, say her name, blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, but what about Angela Davis, right? What about Angela Davis? You see what I'm doing, right? I'm having this conversation with Google, but it's Google AI. So remember, history was written by the victors. History isn't a true isn't true history, because we can look at the China Wall. Was it the Great Wall of China? The Arrow Archer ports are facing China, not facing Russia. So whoever was there, they were defending the wall. The wall was the defense. So who was defending against China? Who didn't want China to come across? Right? Because the slats are on the wrong side. Everything to stop the attack is on China's side, and it's absolutely stupid. So that's the history. We're told the Great Wall of China. China built it for whatever reason. Blah blah blah. That's history because China won it. China dictated that. And what this is doing now in modern day is I've had a whole conversation about Black Lives Matter on here. I've asked anything I've wanted, right? And if I can just get out of this mode now, I've missed all of this. I've not looked at any of this. I've not looked at any studies, anything else, blah, blah, blah. All of these things, all supplementaries, Reddits, blah. I've not done any of that. So yes, to answer your question, yes, it's all rewritten, and we're seeing it now with AI, because whoever programs AI will tell me the answer. So whatever it's right or wrong, it doesn't matter. As long as it can tell me an answer, I can articulately reply or I can articulately pass on, then that message goes. It doesn't actually matter if it was Marxist or not. In the long run of things, it only matters to me because I care about what the personality is behind but the organization level, it doesn't matter. So if they just turned around and said, no, I passed it on, no, there wasn't. Someone else passed it on, no, there wasn't. DEI, it's not actually equity, it's education. No, it's education. I'm going mad now. It's getting too late. I'm going to have to turn this off. It's equity. No, it's not equity. It's equality. It's equality. Do you know what I mean? And then people are now going around saying it's equality when it's not, it's equity. Come on, people. History is rewritten by whoever it is, and UTK Blue, history is repeating. History repeating is exactly how the manipulation works. Different agendas for the same outcome, but it's not going to be the same history if they've rewritten it. We will look at that and say, well, actually, this is new. But then the people who have hidden the truth from you says, this, actually, we are repeating itself. And that's why sometimes you can get into a situation that's brand fucking new and you're like, not I've been here like deja vu, but you're like, I know how this goes. I absolutely know how this whole situation will play out. So you play it that way and it works. Right. It's a shame they're showing a pantomime. I was in a school play. I played a tree. I wish I could show you. I really wish I could show you my little one's Christmas outfit. All right? Because she's a little star. She's a star. All right? So let me just work out if there's any. Actually, I'm not going to tell you because I think there's pictures out. I'm not going to tell you, but yeah. But I wish I could show you people because it was absolutely gorgeous. She hated it. If you don't learn from history, you repeat it. It's a subject that's been dropped from the curriculum or rewritten by the right. Exactly. But again, if you don't know the history is actually history, it's actually been done. We can repeat it over and over because they keep changing what's happened. It's like language. It's like Marxists, right? The Marxists say this is a family-friendly event. So the Drag Queen Story Hour is a family-friendly event. And what people would say is, oh, I'd never send my kids there. It's not family. And they're arguing on the wrong thing because they've changed the language. They say family as in if you support Marxist ideology. The Marxist family-friendly. We're not going to be doing the things that those people outside, they want. We do what we want. That's why people come in with their kids. They're like, yeah, it's fine. We're all Marxists. I want my kids to grow up in this way. So they change the language. We fight on the wrong thing. They carry on. If they keep changing that language and that word means something different that we don't use or we don't accept or we don't acknowledge, then they're winning, aren't they? Because we're never going to really understand what they mean. I think I understood what I meant. Yes, the thing. What is it? Vox Populi. Vox Populi. And then I'm going to go, right? I'm not going to do the after party. I've lied to everyone. I've lied to everyone. I'll do it soon, though. Actually, do you know what? I might just pop back on. But I really need to do something. Oh, here I am. Look at that. 33 watching, and I'm number one on my... Oh, you can't see it. I'm number one on my search, but we're not getting out there. But it doesn't matter because if you look at overall tonight, we've got really good numbers. But again, it's not really the numbers. It's whether or not people get any substance from what we're saying. And if you want any of these slides or anything like that, let me know and I'll email them to you. What am I doing? Vox Populi. Vox Populi. Here we go. There we go. Did they say it's Vox? How long is this? Right, we've got this.
No, he's physically.
Yeah, that's not the full. Wait there. Wait, you can come with me. What am I on this screen for? Right. So as you can see, here's the videos. And this one here says it's the full.
No, he's physically attacked my brother.
You see where it starts? It starts at no. He's physically attacked my brother.
Yeah, I'm a bad man. No, he's physically attacked my brother. We're Sikhs. We wear turban and he's just attacked my brother. But restrain him, please. I can't let him go until this gets sorted. I'm not being racially attacked and letting this get away with it. I'm not having this as a regular occurrence.
See, whoever's talking that, and I think that's his brother, he should be in prison as well. These are the fights we've got to be fighting on. The greatest thing of what happened in Southampton the other night is when everyone was outside the police station. I'm not saying anything wrong with the Southampton Patriots. I support them with everything I can. And if I can get down to them events, I always will do. It's just a shame that people that went past my house to go down there didn't want to phone up and say, Dan, you going down there or not? We're going past. They know where I live. Do you know what I mean? I'm going past. Do you want to pick up? But it doesn't matter, does it? All right. So the best thing that they should have done, the Southampton Patriots, was to wait outside the police station, stay at the police station, and demand these things. Demand the full body cam. I know the body cam's been released, but it's not the full one. Demand the full 999 call. Demand the timeline. Demand the chief constable get sacked and charged. The 3 police officers sacked and charged, remanded. The full amount. They could have done that there, and I think they might have got a win. But whoever said to move, to go to his other place, to go outside, wherever they're going outside, as soon as that happened, I knew the police had won. I knew they'd won. That was it. When they were at the police station, the police were They were under pressure. It wasn't a good look. They don't like that. They don't like it when we're on their grounds. When we're on their doorstep, they hate it. But let's just go through this and then we'll see what happens. Oh, it's 12 minutes. Oh, I'm wrong. Sorry, I'm wrong. Vox Populi, I apologise. It was a promo bit that you've done. I apologise. It might be the right one, the full one.
It's emergency.
Yeah, it
we've
was.
just been attacked
I apologise.
by someone racially. Yeah, this. Right. He's just attacked it. Took his starter. Okay. Huh? Sorry, we just got attacked racially by some white person.
Right, okay. Whereabouts are you?
We're on Belmont Road.
Just out in the street, are you?
Sorry?
You're just in the street?
Yeah, literally. I just parked up my car to come home, and he's attacked my brother.
Are you talking about verbally or physically?
No, he physically attacked my brother. We're Sikhs. We wear...
Yes, LTG, how are you doing? Good evening.
Have any weapons been involved?
No.
Okay,
Leave him 1 second. I'm calling the police. Leave him. We'll restrain him, please. Sorry? Sorry, what was that?
Right, okay. Is that person still there?
Yeah, we're restraining him right now because he's just attacked my brother and took my brother's turban off.
Hold on.
Can we have someone out here, please, ASAP?
Yeah, you can. Tell me a number you're outside of, can you?
No, so Belmont Road, down the police station. Pardon?
Okay, I've got you. Bear with me.
Okay. And he's also recorded some as well on his phone. So can we please have the police out here urgently?
Yeah. Listen, I'll get someone there straight away. It's not going to delay anything now. Just bear with me. I need some details, okay? So just answer some questions.
He's verbally attacked my brother racially. He's attacked my brother and took his turban off. Then he's recorded it on his phone thinking he was going to do something. So I need someone here ASAP, please.
I
we're restraining him, so I'm not letting him... I can't let him go until this gets sorted. I'm not being racially attacked and letting this get away with it.
Okay, listen. What's your name?
Gurpreet Digwa.
And your date of birth, Gurpreet?
Uniform.
Okay, I've got you on the system.
So he is emotionally,
Let me just get it
I'm not having this as a regular occurrence. I live here.
No,
I'm not having this as a regular occurrence.
That's fine, I agree. Just bear with me and let me get it sent over to the control desk and we can get someone on their way, okay?
Thank you.
But again, this is an important thing.
Yeah,
that's an important thing from Band again. How did he imagine? So I've got such a cough coming on. How did he imagine no one would notice that Henry was stabbed 5 times? This is why the timeline is important. Because did anything happen? Do you know what I mean? Did they inspect it themselves? Were they going to say, "Oh fuck! Oh no, he's doing this. Can we dump him somewhere? Can we put him in the back of the car? Can we do all sorts of things?" We don't know what happened. We don't know the sequence of events from this telephone call from when the incident happened. Were they confident? They must have been confident to say he's only been stabbed in the face. They might have known that it was and you see the knife as well. The knife's is an armor piercing knife, right? So potentially it's got no serrated edges on it. It's very pointy and it's very sharp. So you can go in, burst something. It's like you remember the biros? They said if you've got an obstructed airway, you can your best thing to do is snap a biro and shove it in your trachea or whatever, and that will allow you to breathe out, right? Because it keeps it open. And if you snapped it like casino or something like that, if you snapped it inside of it, it would just bleed out. You get an artery and it will just continually bleed out. So if you punch us quickly enough, it could close up on the outside. Because there's no serrated edges, there's nothing, it's very clean. It could automatically go on the outside and start trying to heal itself, whilst on the inside, it's bleeding out. So potentially that could happen. And they thought, hang on a minute, we might be able to get away with this. We might be able to say he fell Did he fall? Did he try and climb over that? Is that why the cut on his face happened? Is that why they said he's got a cut on his face? And then they'd say if he's got a puncture wound, oh, he must have had a bit of stick or something. He must have fell on a bit of fencing panel. All of these things are so important because we can't allow it just to end like this. There is so many questions that need to be answered. Illiterate and inbred, exactly.
He's racially attacking people. That's what he's doing.
Well, we've heard
some brown people. That's what it was.
Has your brother got any injuries? I know they called his turban off.
We don't need no apologies. We're waiting for the police to come. They're on their way.
Peppery, just talk to me.
Yes.
Has your brother got any injuries, or have you got any injuries?
Wait there.
Nah, he's...
The control desk, and we can get someone on their way, okay?
Thank you.
Now listen at the background. Try to zoom out, turn it up, and try and listen to the background.
Yeah.
Someone says something there.
Fighting people, he's racially attacking people. That's what he's doing. Nah, he sees some brown people. That's what it was.
Now, who was that people talking? We can't hear. But this audio's been released, so it could have been mechanically manipulated. It could have been altered, so you can't hear them. I can do all sorts of things in my editing software where I can make myself sound like, you know, I'm underwater on the same mic as what I sound. You know, I can make myself, if I put enough energy in it, to make myself crystal clear. So that is possible. But was that someone saying, why did you do that? And then he said, I'm not having it. We're going to get someone on their way. That's what he's doing. That's what it was.
Please to come, they're on their way.
Peppery, just talk to me.
Yes.
Has your brother got any injuries, or have you got any
I missed it. But was that what he was saying to other people to try and calm it down because they've seen it? I want their testimony. I want all the people who were there. I want to see their witness statements.
I haven't, because I've just come back to my brother. My brother's had his hair pulled and stuff. The guy has fallen over because he looks like he's drunk, and he's fallen over and he's hurt his face.
But they were confident, right? They were confident. And now he's got his mum out. He told her the dagger. He asked to hide it when she's done. Yes.
So I want this, please, to be sorted. We've just come back from town, parked up to go home, and this is what's happened.
All right. Just stay calm. We'll get officers on the way, all right?
Yeah. I haven't got any wobbles.
Again, we can't hear that. As if, let's go through the chat quickly, as if forensics wouldn't have picked up all the facts. But I didn't see a tent there. I didn't see hardly anything there. I didn't see the newspapers come out with a tent for 4 days trying to get every single bit of forensic from every single stone. We've seen it all. We know what happens. They do a tent, they do a big, contamination scene. I didn't see any of that. But at the time, in December 25, I didn't even see the story. Here's the option. Here's one option. The brother may have turned up after the attack and was told by the sociopath murderer his side of the story. Did he hide the body behind the car? Well, when we get there, if we remember the body cam, if we get there, it's the brother allegedly with him saying, I'm trying to keep him up. So he keeps falling down. I'm trying to keep him steady. So was he trying at that point? But then they've called the police anyway. So maybe not. But that's a good point. It's all things that need to be answered. And we haven't even gone through to Brighton. We'll do Brighton on Tuesday because just look into Brighton as well. It's so mad what's going on. I thought I heard someone say, is he dead? Let's have a look.
Yeah, I've got you on the system. Let me just get it set
I'm not
up.
having this as a regular occurrence. I live here.
No,
I'm not having this as a regular
fine.
occurrence.
That's fine. I agree. Just bear with me and let me get it sent over to the control desk and we can get someone on their way, okay?
Thank you. He ain't fighting people, he's racially attacking people. That's what he's doing.
So she probably said, what is he doing? He said he's fighting people, he's racially attacking people. So I want to know who that person is.
Nah, he sees some brown people, that's what it was.
Has your brother got any injuries? on anything?
You see there? Listen to the edit. There's a definite edit there. Listen, there's a click.
He sees some brown people, that's what it was.
Has your brother got any injuries? on anything?
There.
What is terminal?
We don't need no apologies, we're waiting for the police to come, they're on their way.
Peppery, just
Yes.
talk to me.
Yes.
Has your brother
Yes.
got any injuries or have you got any injuries?
It's a fair point.
I haven't, because I've just come back from my brother. My brother's had his hair
he could have
pulled
said, is he dead?
and stuff. The guy has fallen over because he looks like he's drunk, and he's fallen over and he's hurt his face.
So yeah, he was studying accountancy, and yeah, he wasn't. He wasn't one of them people. He didn't deserve any of that. I'm going to be late for work, for fuck's sake. Roy, have a good one at work. The footage of where they first turned up at the dad was holding Henry up. Was it the dad? Dad said he was bleeding right there. As soon as you see someone on the floor, surely you check them, ask questions. Exactly that. Run this through AI, it will tell you. It will tell me something. Anyway, he's making excuses from the get-go, racially attacked. Exactly that. Now, like what Roy said, was the brother, has he called him and he's turned up and he's trying to make everything fine? So he's the one and he sounds on the telephone that he's dictating to his brother. He's telling his brother, did he do this? He's leading questions, trying to justify the unjustifiable. Yes. And again, it's the stabbing. Even when the police officer was there, and he says something about, let me check where you've been stabbed. And he said he hasn't been stabbed. So they're very confident that there's not much blood. Very confident. The only way you'll be that confident is if you've studied it, if you've looked at it. So have these sick bastards, in his hours where they should have got him treatment that he needed, left him there and rolled him around and see if he stabbed. Did you stab him? Yeah, but I can't see any blood. Listen, have you stabbed? All of that type of stuff. He's hurt his face. He was stabbed in the face. I'm not sure exactly where he was as well. I think he was sliced in the face though. Oh, the father was holding him up. Okay then. Why did they put him in the boot and dump him? Too many CCTV cameras everywhere, I suppose. Potentially, yeah. Potentially, you can't get someone outside of the town centre or outside somewhere like that without being spotted. But probably they would have done if they could. Sadly, the animals filmed Henry trying to escape. Thankfully, these idiots were so dumb to record their crimes. Yeah. But we haven't seen, we don't want to see, this is the problem, right? When people give out half of the CCTV and half of the videos, well, we want to see more. We want to see it all. But we don't want to see, how they disrespected and taunted and, probably made Henry very scared. He might have been scared. I don't see he was a fighting man. I don't see anything like that. So he's probably very scared. We don't want to see that, but we do want to see the actual, we want to see what the jury saw, to make sure that 21 years as a minimum was an acceptable sentence. I'm not sure if you can get much more. Oh, you can. You can get HMP anymore, where it's an indeterminate sentence, or did they scrap that? I don't know. But, we do want to make sure that justice has been done. And so far, we can't trust that justice is done even a little bit. Again, it did take a year for Chris Kabar, the police officer, to be arrested for murder. It did take a long time, granted. But I don't see it in this case. I see them just getting away with it. They kept it out of the news for ages. They knew they fucked up badly. Yeah, I know. I couldn't believe it. I heard it. The first time I heard it was someone at I think it was a UTK march. And I was like, what? That's not right. A Sikh lad stabbed a white lad, and we've not heard it. Googled it just to prove him wrong, just so I can come up on the stream and say, listen, don't believe everything that people say. Do you know what I mean? People are saying wild things at the moment. Googled it, bang, right there. Like, what the how the fuck has this happened? How has this happened? The knife was 19 centimeters and 7.5 inches blade. Did they stab him as they were on the phone? Yeah, might have done. They were talking in Punjabi in the back of the cop car, thinking the police wouldn't get an interpreter to translate. He admits stabbing 3 times, and they worry if there was cameras. Oh, was that what it was? Max sentence is life without parole. So we didn't get a maximum sentence then. So he got a lenient sentence, 21 years. How old is he? 22. He'll get out when he's, what, say 45. He's still got a big life ahead of him. Still got potentially 45 years.
Hey, is anyone on their way, sorry?
Yeah, we're on the way. Okay, just bear with me and I'll tell you where we are. What did he say? Do you know?
Vic, what did he say to you when he attacked you?
See, open question.
Yeah.
Definitely Hillary Clinton. That's so right. Hillary.
So my brother said he'd come back to the car to grab my stuff, my food from the car, and he's then come to my brother, stumbled into my brother in a drunk rage. Yo, Vic, what did he say to you? What did he say to you?
Oh, who do you think you are? I was like, look, bro, you're drunk, carry on, walk on. Then I was there, he goes, oh, who do you think I'm a bad man? I was like, bro, look, I'm a bad man.
Hopefully he won't. Hopefully he doesn't.
What did he say?
Hopefully justice gets served there.
The police need a report. Come here. Yeah, he was.
Disgusting.
So basically, he stumbled into my brother.
Yeah.
So do you want to speak to my brother?
No, you carry on. He stumbled into him, and then what did he do?
Okay. So he stumbled into you, and then what?
Yeah, so he's walked into me, stumbled, he's drunk. I've clearly said to him, look, yeah, look, mate, you're drunk, carry on about your day, do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Right?
So basically, my brother said he stumbled into my brother. My brother's ignored it and said, look, carry on with the day, and then what?
Then he goes to me, who do you think?
Oi, Taffy, it's Taffy here. Taffy, if you're still listening, mate, just drop a message in the chat.
Think you are? Who do you think?
He goes, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are to my brother? And then what?
And then he goes, oh, you're this, you're that. Who do you think you're a bad man? I was like, yeah, I'm a bad man. What? Then he starts recording me.
Right.
As he's recording me, I snatched his phone. He's then laid a punch onto me. He's pushed me back and my turban's come off. He started then grabbing my head. So I then grabbed him and then he started pushing me, attacking me even further and everything like that.
He's racially attacked my brother.
Definitely. Spearfire said he'll be out in 6 to make way for the hurty word tweeter. You can see that coming. Is this the precursor for civil unrest at present? The government needs to... I can't read that. Wrong one. The government needs to hold on to power. Yes or no? Snapchat caught the evidence. Henry said nothing racial. Is there any links to a Snapchat, Louise? If there is, just DM it to me or whatever. I haven't seen anything like that. Prison's not what it used to be. There's a lot of anti-white groups there now. Yeah, it's pro-ethnics. There's so many of them in there. It's pro-ethnics in there. So it's only us people get fear when we're in there. Them ones are not. People who are against, people who are right-wing, ethnics, we're done on all sides. But yeah, I'm going to leave that one there. We can go back to it probably whenever. I might just come on tomorrow as well, even though it's not in the schedule. I have got a schedule, which is Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, I think. I'm trying to do it this way. Let me know either publicly or privately if this is a style that you like. I do, as I said, I did have it planned out somewhat, but obviously when we get the chat going, I do like to engage with the chat, and I do like, I like you. We've been about for a long time. You guys are my guys, and it's good to have a conversation. I'm going to have more panels though, but I need to make sure it works as well. So I might just have a panel show tomorrow, And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Because all of these things, like these things here, if you notice, these things are exactly the same as StreamYard, right? They're exactly the same as that, but I'm not using StreamYard. I'm just on my OBS. I'm going to multiple sources of, it's telling me here that I'm not on these places, and then people are saying they're on X watching me, and they're doing all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, it's still saying I'm doing it to them. So it is a work in progress, people. But if you do like the setup, obviously open it with a statement. There's going to be no long intervals. So when I say I'm on at 10:30, that's when we start. That's when I'm going to start. It's not going to be a 4 or 5 minute intro and whatnot. And then we get the slides out and try to have a more structural debate. But that goes anyway, because you people in the chat do the job for me as well, because you keep the conversation going. You call me up when it needs to be. You pull me in all these directions, which is great, because it makes a varied stream. So if you like these styles, if you like this way, let me know, and we'll carry on. We're going to do it for a little bit anyway, and we're going to make sure that we can. Lotus Eater's read out the court transcript. I'll find it for you next time. Yeah, Tar, I'll have a look as well. OBS looks great. I've worked on it. I've worked hard on it. And this is what people don't see, yeah? The amount of time in my day that I do this, right? And it's not even like, do you know what? It's a well-paid job and all of this, and, you can take your time. I have multiple things that I do, but I still want this. I want these streams to be the best online, just because it's us. It's us doing this. And I want, you know what I mean? I don't want to give you guys an hour slop of not even bothering putting my face up, or, not even bothering doing stuff. Because look at what we've been doing today. This is, to be fair, I think this is, look at this. This is for LTG. She ain't seen it yet. Look how we're going on here. We've got sources, we've got all of these sources, and we've got all different sections. I can't even see it. What a knobhead. Wait there. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show it to all the people that didn't see it. This is how much we care. Right? Get rid of that. So we've got DEI. It's all slides, and it's all things that I'm going to try and focus myself, so we do have a detailed stream. Henry Novak, Brighton. We'll get to Brighton. But is there something I can just tease you with? Is there something I can tease you with? No, not really. Not really. Why people stop thinking. This is all done by me. Look up here. Danny Unfiltered. This is all done by me. So, yes. I'm proud of it, and I'm proud to present it to you guys. And I hope you guys enjoy it. And, yeah, this is how we're going to go forward. And we will win, because we're winners. Right? End of. So, Roy, good night. God bless. I hope you got to work. If you when going to work, are you pulled a sickie? Louise, always enjoy your lives. Thank you. We is the best. We are. We have to be. That's what I want it to be. I don't care if we got 100 of us yet, as long as we are on point and we're ahead of everyone else. That's all I care about, because we won't be sucked into all of this divisive things. I know people think podcasting is easy work, but we all know it is work. It is work, especially when you don't know what you're doing, right? And I don't claim that I know what I'm doing. I have to Google everything, even to get this. You see this bit here, right? To get this up, it was such a jar. It was such a jar that I've got to connect all of the chats into this, and then this has got to go to someone else. And then when I click it, it comes up. Stay in touch with God. It helps lots. Of course, it grounds us. Spearthrower, good night. And with that, it's 1 o'clock, and we've done, how long have we done? 2 hours and 43 minutes. You lot are fucking legends. So thank you for your time. Hope you enjoyed it. Please, though, can you do me a favor and just what? Just like it. Share it. Just share it to X, or share it to YouTube, or share it wherever. Just share it once. That's it. Just try and get this out, because I think there's some important things on here. And yeah, I think the world needs to know. The world needs to know, especially with DEI. DEI is a lot more complex than what people are trying to make out. And it's not necessarily a problem for just one individual thing. I think it's a problem throughout, and I think it's designed that way, and it's been designed that way for a long, long time. Louise, you're a legend. We appreciate you. I appreciate you and every single one of you who give up your time to listen to what I have to say. It's something amazing, and you're all legends, and I really do appreciate it. So good night, God bless, and I'll see you on the other side. Hopefully this is the end. This is the ending.